Sean, start the movie.
Who's Sean?
Ray and Chris's friend. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean. I don't know you, Sean.
Let's see if we can hear this real quick so we can hear how we sound. Test, test, test.
Test, test, test.
Can you hear us, Sean?
Sean, can you hear us?
Test, test, test. Okay, you're going to have to talk directly into it. Yeah, that's better.
So I gotta have the mic right in my mouth.
Yeah, pretty much eat the mic. Yeah, kind of like that. But not quite like that. Where's with this little bubble? I don't want that little bubble.
Do you want me to lick the mic?
I don't. That's up to you whether or not you want to lick the mic. I mean...
Some totally tubular hair.
It is good hair. Very good hair. Very good hair.
These glasses are still tilted.
Well, how often do you wear them? I mean, you only wear them like for 80's stuff.
Who can hear and see us?
Well, anyone on the internet who's currently watching the show, which is pretty much Sean.
Sean's the only one.
Thus far, let me see. Let me scroll up here real quick and see if anyone. P concurrent 3. Okay, so it looks like more people are joining. So.
No, I like them better on.
Like them better on? They look good on.
I'm sure these people love seeing me print. Don't be jelly of this totally cool necklace.
I am.
An original.
All right, Canada, where are you at?
Yeah, Canadians.
Well, the ones that are on the show. Sean's here, so we've got one.
The video Canadians. Well, I can't see what Sean might say. I can't see what anybody says.
Oh, Ryan's on. He says, Ryan says, hey all. Sean says, rocking the glasses.
Sweet. Thanks, Sean. Hi, Ryan. I don't know who you are either.
Ryan's a regular.
Ryan's regular?
Yes. I mean, I don't, whatever. He's a regular to be on the in the chat room.
We're just gonna have crooked glasses.
That's fine. I probably have crooked glasses too, and no one says anything.
These internet people don't even know who I am.
All right, so I was gonna save it till we got to the show, but I'm on Skype, new account, same as last show. All right, let's see here. Give me a second. Let's see. I'll put the logo here.
Eugene has to think. It's like the drive-thru. He can't do two things at once.
Really?
I'll fill in.
There he is.
And make fun of you.
Yes.
We can hear you. Now we can see you.
Hi!
I love your glasses.
I am totally rocking the 80's.
You have nailed the 80's, that's for sure.
I have my charm necklace, my rubber bands. Well, I'm going to break something.
Please don't break something.
Hold on. Let's see.
Christy's breaking shit.
Got rubber bands. I don't know where to keep
Yes.
It's right
Big hoop
there.
Earrings. Denim jacket. Hi!
Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's
Look
not
at the puppy.
That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. There we go. Okay. There he is. There's the puppy.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Christy. I love your ensemble.
Well, I figure if I'm going to be on, I had to look good.
Because the rest of us, I'll make sure we look good when.
Hey, I'm representing. You're representing.
Yeah, exactly.
I told Eugene he needs to put a hat on.
To cut down on the glare.
All right, I'll do it too.
Do you really want me to go put a hat on?
Pretty shiny.
Which hat do you want me to put on?
Okay.
You don't care.
Put your Chinese hat on.
Really?
Trucker hat.
That's Logan's hat.
It's the Destin hat from Stranger Things.
So, Canadian friends, you should really want to be here right now because it's only 108 degrees today.
Thanks.
I don't know what that is in Celsius.
I don't either.
It's
What is that?
ridiculously high.
I can maybe find out.
Yeah, it's super hot.
No, I need to know exact. So
42.
100.
I don't know.
Nope.
Not E-hat.
That is. I have big thumbs and stupids.
Yes.
That is.
I think it's like 42-ish.
Yes.
What
42.
is hell?
Ew.
I was right.
Ew. The last time I was in 42-degree heat, I was in Belize.
Well,
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure we live in the tropics now.
That's awful.
Good for you. That's so when the palm trees going.
Exactly. There's no ocean. That's what's disturbing.
So it's gonna be a desert? Is that the?
Yeah, we live in the desert. I should say desert, not tropics. All I know is it's horrible.
Yeah. So are you looking up the conversion?
Yeah, it's 42.
We're 42. Because
It's gross.
It's 22 right now here.
And it's a little warm for nighttime.
Mhm.
It feels hotter than
Jeez.
that. Yeah, it's
It's
hot.
like 70 something.
It's hot. It's muggy. That's
Yeah.
Shut
It,
up.
it feels like 80 something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be your friends anymore now.
I will.
Here, and you're gonna enjoy our summers up here. Is what you're gonna do.
That's what we should do. We need a summer home in Canada.
As soon as we can afford a summer home anywhere, we'll discuss it.
Okay.
We can afford our
Well,
home.
maybe Ray could build a little guest house.
wow.
We were discussing that.
We are.
It could be, you could rent it out for like an Airbnb.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Only it's gonna be a little
It's not gonna-
trailer.
yeah.
It's not gonna be a house.
No, and it's not winter. It won't be winterized.
Yeah.
But it'll be a little guest house.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. We finally figured out what we want to do. So
Ryan in the chat says my hat says 1880s, not 1980s.
Well,
it's okay.
Eugene was alive in the 1880s.
Really?
Can we get to the picks and pans already? Because, dude, I have a pan, and your hat's killing me.
It's the mall.
Yeah, not just the mall. So, my hat store
Oh.
that's up here. It's called Big It Up. Out of business. They're gone. And they were the only ones that I could find that sold those kind of hats.
Oh, no.
Not yet.
They're gone.
That sucks.
And my hat from Texas that was, that style, gone. I don't know where it is.
Oh,
Lost.
no.
Yeah,
All of Eugene's hats I've ordered off Amazon.
All right, I'm going to have to do that.
Check Amazon. Mhm.
Amazon.ca.
Mhm.
Yes.
Sean says, oh, geez, Canada.
Are they?
Sean.
How do you pronounce it? Canada.
Yeah.
Sean's watching. Hi, Sean. I guess
Yep,
he's
Sean's watching.
Love you.
Sean and Ryan are in the chat room, so Lainey and Jennifer couldn't make it because they're at some wine thing and are running late. And I'm sure decided, well, we're not going to make it for the beginning of the show. We might as well just stay.
Drunks. I'm
They-
having wine.
They've started their own little, single girls club thing, so
Oh, well, that's good.
We're not invited, Chris, because we're not single.
I'm happy.
I'm sure they would allow you to come along if you wanted to.
That means I don't. I'd probably just crash it anyway.
Yeah, you would.
She'd be like, "Fuck, I'm gonna be here."
But I need somebody else. I need another married person to crash it with me. So you have to come here so we could do that.
I will when it's not 42 degrees outside.
There you go.
Yeah, we're trying to think of things like, because we have a monthly date thing, and the thing we were going to do this month we put off till next month, just funding wise. So we were like, well, let's go eat somewhere. We drove to a little town that's about 20 minutes away, and ate. We ate a good lunch, and then it's like, well, what do you want to do? And there's probably some shops down there we could have looked at. There's another town pretty close to it that we could have walked through and looked at shops and stuff. But it's like, no, it's hot as balls outside. We're not doing anything outside.
Let's go home.
So we drove around and looked at homes from the car.
Yeah, from the car.
We like
Not
to.
that we're moving anytime soon.
No.
You're just looking.
Yeah, we do that.
Yep.
And then saying, why would they put that color on there? That's horrible.
Yeah.
And then Eugene wants to have a 3-car so he can put a nasty air vent thing outside of it.
Okay, here's the thing. So, like, my brother's house and a lot of the houses down here are now building 3-car garages, and it's like the double 2-car garage and then a single next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all open air within the garage itself. And we drove by one, and the dude had so much junk piled up in it, I thought there was a wall between the single and the double. And I was like, that makes sense. If I did that, then I could put like a little air conditioner in just the little one, like, a little wall, window unit or whatever. She's like, you are not hanging a window unit out of the back or out of the side of my house.
No.
Which is funny because
this nice house with a window unit on the side.
Which is funny because we had to go to Lowe's to look around at some stuff, and like those freestanding, like, small area air conditioners, they're about the same price. And I was like, okay, well that would work. But I was just thinking, if it was separate from the rest of the garage, then I don't have to cool down a 3-car garage. I just have to cool down one when I'm working.
That's your shop. And
exactly.
Yeah, you're not helping.
Do you guys even have to have air conditioning up there?
They don't have air conditioning. They don't.
We don't.
Lots of people do.
Lots of people do.
I like it in the car.
Yeah, our families have it. We don't have it. They all think we're nuts, but a lot of people up here don't have it.
But you only need it for like a few days, really.
Really, like when the heat waves come through, you need it. But other than that,
but you could just go play in the water and be fine.
We go play in the water, or we go to when the heat wave hit at the beginning of the month. We went to my mom's house one day, and then to Ray's parents or sister's house the other day, just to sort of siphon there.
Well, listen, if it gets that hot out and we don't want to do anything and we want to get to AC, we'll go to the movies.
Yeah.
Good plan, Ray. Good plan.
Sean says he has AC.
Yeah.
Yes, Sean has
he
AC.
And he says, yes, y'all are nuts.
We try.
Just it gets so. I mean, it's only for a couple of months, really, that you need it.
And if it gets that bad out, I'll just sleep on the couch, and because we have a
You did do
fan.
that.
I've done it, and I might do it tonight.
You slept over on the couch underneath.
Because there's a fan that goes right over top of me when I'm sleeping on the couch. And
now, if we lived down there and it was 42, we'd have to have.
it would be AC.
We would have an
Oh,
AC.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you can't survive in Texas without AC.
No, I don't want to die.
No, we wouldn't be able to. Like, people have died in heat waves here, mainly the elderly in cities, because, they can't. They either can't afford air conditioning, and their apartments get very, very muggy,
or it's broken,
and they don't have anybody to check up on them.
But don't you get a lake breeze there since you're so close?
We do.
We do, yeah. It's a couple degrees cooler than it is inland.
Yeah. So in the spring through, I'd say, late summer, we're always a few degrees cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the winter, we're actually a few degrees warmer until around
March.
Yeah, March, and then it's February. It can start getting the same temperature
Because it's cold everywhere.
because it's just cold everywhere.
It's just cold.
There's that Arctic freeze again.
There's the Arctic.
I want to experience that Arctic freeze one day.
It's cold, man. I love it. I enjoy it. I like it when I breathe and my nostrils stick together.
No.
Oh,
Damn, I've never been that cold.
Oh, yeah. It gets cold.
I could probably survive. Eugene will be a wuss.
My resistance to the cold has gone way down from what it used to be. But yeah, I'd be like, oh no, I don't know about this.
Yeah. No,
I'll get you out on the ice skating.
Oh my god. Yeah, right. This one's skating.
No, I'm not scared. I have a horrible ankle. Like that's just
The skate is, it holds the ankle together.
I guess maybe
Really?
he'd break something.
I would break something. No, I'm fine.
Trying to brace himself as he fell.
All right. Downhill skiing it is. No, downhill because that boot, your ankle ain't moving.
No,
Only if I can sit on a tin thing, like in Christmas Vacation. With Griswold.
What about an air tube?
Air tube.
Yeah, we do an air tube.
Those are fun. Pick up some speed on that.
Be you're like you'd hit a tree though.
Probably.
Oh no! There's a few ski hills around us that do the tubing, and so that there's a clear path, and you have to go like it goes down that, and there's no tree in front of you. So
okay, that's good.
Yeah, I would try that.
I'd take a GT in one sound.
Harrison Park.
Yeah.
Take him to Centennial.
Oh, they would die.
No, Harrison's way bigger than.
No, I know, but Centennial would they'd hit the pond like the creek.
The creek.
Oh God.
It's a little.
It's a little tiny dip, and then all of a sudden you, at the bottom of the hill, if you don't stop in time, you go into the creek. Which isn't quite frozen over yet.
No.
Oh no.
I never did that when I was a kid. I never wound up in the creek. I never did.
I avoided the creek every time.
Yeah. I don't know any kid who actually went into the creek.
I was gonna say I only think it would take once, and you'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
Where are the children's?
They are in their rooms on
their tablets. Well, actually,
no, Logan's not on any tablet. Quinny is on.
Logan's on the Switch. Logan is playing Zelda.
Okay.
It's hilarious because every time she gets stuck on something, she gets you to pass it for her.
Can you do that for me? No, I want you to do it. I'll just find another. No.
Nope. I can't relate there.
Ryan says his rule is when it comes to weather, my golden rule is never live in an area where if your car breaks down, you could die. And I think he lives in San Francisco, but I'm not for certain.
I don't know where you could live with that. Where would be a good...
Florida?
No, because it would get really hot in the summertime there. Like if you get stuck in your car.
Cisco's pretty normal all year.
You could in BC maybe. To like southern BC.
Well, so then that makes sense then because that west coast is always kind of warm. You never get too cold.
Yeah.
How do you know Ryan?
Ryan, you started watching some of Psy's stuff, right? And then came over and started watching us, or did you just find us? I don't remember at this point.
Pretty sure he started with Psy, and then
I think so. Yeah.
And then Psy stopped making stuff and
Loser.
Oh no! Remember, he's doing stuff now. He's got his show that he's been doing, and
he rejoined.
Psy the loser.
Sean, my wife and I headed to San Fran for our 10th. Went to the Star Trek convention. Loved it.
No.
I remember
you wouldn't go to a Star Trek convention?
Yeah.
Comic-Con?
I told you what will happen when you go.
Okay, so our friend Meg is at the big event. She's at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
Drove there. And so I actually need to ask her some questions about it, if I get to go to this Ghostbusters thing about like getting there or whatever. But anyway, I told Christy, I'm like 1 year. I'm going to the big show. I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con.
That'd be amazing.
And she's like, well, I'll go with you, but I'm just going to stay at the hotel and chill at the pool.
Watch.
Like, okay.
She meets all the celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
You have to go to the convention. Well, no, it depends on which hotel we're at.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not staying at the Highway Motel 6. I mean, if you get to spend money at a Comic-Con, I'm getting a nice hotel.
She's got you there, bud. Hey, but what's worse? You pay for a hotel and your wife joins you, and you get to go to Comic-Con, or you don't get to go to Comic-Con?
Oh, no, I'll definitely take the offer. I don't have a problem with... Yeah.
Better take me.
Why does it keep freezing?
I don't know.
OBS keeps...
It always freezes when I have a weird face. Eugene said I had resting bitch face today.
She did. Like, I was walking towards the car, and normally she doesn't have it. And I was like, are you developing it? Because normally she's, at least kind of got a smile or something. But, like, I'm walking towards the car, and she's just...
I was thinking.
You were mean looking. I almost thought, damn, did I fuck up?
A 50-50 chance.
Well, yeah. All right. I'm trying.
Night shift.
Do what?
I threw the night shift on our screen.
Mm-hmm.
It starts going red.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So that
it's easier on your eyes.
It's easier on your eyes at night when you're watching like YouTube and stuff like that, and so that you actually start falling asleep too. Because if you don't fall asleep, the blue. It's proven that the blue part of the light from the
keeps
screen
you awake. Yeah. It doesn't really seem to bother me. I actually cannot stand the night shift stuff. Like, I've tried doing it before, and I'm like, ooh, no. Ugh.
I thought the computer was gonna die. Like, I'm like,
I know, right? Yeah, it's like,
what did I do?
I have it on my phone. I use it, like I said, when I go to bed, I turn it on, just so that it's, just so that it's, I have noticed a difference. It does help.
See, I don't seem to have a problem though.
There you go.
I seem to, I like can look at my phone, put it down, roll over, kiss her goodnight, and then it's like, all right, what am I gonna do? Done. I'm out. So.
I mean, that's me usually anyway. But when I don't know, somebody gets pissed off if I do that, so I try and stay up a little bit.
I just get mad that you fall asleep so quickly and I don't. It's more like I'm envious your body does that and mine doesn't. It's instant. He'll say goodnight and all of a sudden it's... I'm like, dude!
When I had a bunch more of the weight on and I snored really bad, like she was like racing to try to fall asleep before I started snoring. But I lost a bunch of the weight. I stopped snoring as bad. And now, like, if she has a lot to drink, I have to race to get to bed before her because alcohol and being super tired causes her to snore a little bit.
I snore when I'm sick.
And I snore when I'm sick.
Oh, well, yeah, I think pretty much everyone does when they're sick. Like, that's just... your body can't breathe and you're just like, you're half gasping for air all the time.
Yeah.
I usually get stoned.
Over here. My side's better this way.
Really? I have to because the Ethernet cord's over here because I originally had it switched, but apparently the Ethernet's not necessarily helping anyway. So, all right.
Before we get started, I'll go get the kids so that they can say hello.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
And then they gotta get ready for bed. Yeah. Look.
Is that new?
Yes.
Did you already have the crown?
No. I got that last week, one sitting.
You're the queen bee.
It's for my grandma.
That's cool.
Say hi to Christy.
Hi.
What's up?
Brought it out.
Nothing.
What are you doing, Zelda?
My hat.
Well, it's just so cool. Your mom wanted to borrow it. Hi, Quinn.
Hi.
How are y'all doing?
Oh, good. I beat Gannon.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I didn't. I just got 2 horses. Yeah.
It's a fun fight, isn't it?
Like, the last is easy. Come on, Calamity Ganon. How are you gonna beat him without a Master Sword?
Logan, did you cut your hair?
Pardon?
Did Logan cut her hair?
Yeah, she cut her hair. She got a bunch cut off.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I was like, something's different.
Yeah, she got like 6 inches cut off. I think it was stupid long. It was
wow.
Really, yeah, it needed to go. Mm-hmm. And then Quinny got a stripe in his hair, little blonde.
Look at that.
It was blue, and then you
wash it. Green.
Then now he has a blue.
No, it's blue.
It's washing now. Yeah, that's what he wanted. All right, go get ready for bed.
How's my boyfriend?
Which one's their boyfriend?
Yeah.
I should have known that because Alex has no emotions.
He has emotions. He has anger. He has frustration.
Tired.
Nick is good. He is growing crazily.
He's up to here on me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. He has to start wearing glasses, so we ordered his glasses, and
I was hoping they were going to be in already.
I thought they would be in by the end of this week, but they haven't come in yet. So he'll look even more like his daddy once he wears his glasses.
Mm-hmm. Just a bit, eh?
But he's good. They're excited to start first grade.
Yep.
I'll tell him you said hi, Logan.
We're ready for
Bye.
Bye.
And one last thing before we get started.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
Oh, for what I did?
Oh.
So Eugene had a lovely visitor at the door, and it was clearly a salesman, and it was for a security company. Is that what it was? So they wanted to, I'm with so-and-so, and Eugene basically says, yeah, no, I'm good.
No, okay. No, listen. Here's what happened. So doorbell rings. It's in the morning. It's 10:30, whatever. Doorbell rings.
Saturday.
I go and answer the door. There's a guy standing there with an iPad and like a some kind of a binder or whatever. And I opened the door. I said, can I help you? And he said, good morning. Sorry to bother you on a Saturday morning. And of course, as he's talking, I'm scanning him and I'm like, oh, you have Vivint, which is a security company here in this area, on his shirt. So I looked at him and I said, are you selling something? He goes, well, I'm with Vivint, and we're here in the area. And I said, I already have a security system. Thank you.
Yeah.
Close the door.
Yeah.
He was saying something at the time, but I closed the door.
Uh-huh.
So Christy's just like, or no, here's the other thing. Now I was talking on the phone to my brother, and I've had him on speakerphone, and of course he didn't get the whole conversation, and he's like, just what little bit I got of that, it sounded like how Al Bundy used to treat customers. I'm like, I was not that mean. And so I posted it on Facebook, and I've asked people, I'm like, am I an asshole, or did I handle that in an okay way? And pretty much everyone has written back, no. Everyone has either said, no, perfectly fine, or I wish I could do that. I had at least 2 people comment they wish they could do that. And then, of course, Cy, well, you could have been a little nicer.
Oh,
fuck you.
I know. No, you're an asshole. But.
Okay. What's funny is this one guy I know, it's funny. His wife and him are retired. They were teaching, like I had his wife in middle school for 8th grade, 6th grade, something like that. Like they've been teaching for a long time. They're an older couple. But his comment was, you answered the door? Unfortunately, like if it's just me or if it's pretty quiet, yeah, I won't even answer the door. But, obviously they could hear kids and dogs and everything else. I was like, no, I'm going to answer them. So.
And that's why you wouldn't come to the door when we came to your door.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, so I'll never forget, since we're reading Christy anyway. I'll never forget. I was probably Logan's age. And I was at my great-grandmother's place in Toronto. And it's a small little place, but a big suburb. And Anyway, the doorbell rings and they asked me to go get it. So my parents are there. I have a couple of uncles there, an aunt there, and my great grandmother was there. Like, it was a full house. And so anyway, I walked to the door, and doesn't it turn out to be 2 Jehovah's Witnesses?
Okay.
I was always taught to be polite and respectful, and these 2 people wouldn't stop talking, and we should
wanted you to find the Lord.
Oh, they wanted me to find the Lord, and
find the Lord.
They were going to pray for us, and this, that, and the other, and they gave me the pamphlet, and you should really talk to your family to come out to this event, and so 15 minutes later, I closed the door.
15 minutes.
I'm young, right? Like, I'm
right. Yeah.
Well, and I come back to a room with a bunch of adults kind of smirking a little bit, saying, "Who is that, Ray?" I said, "I don't know, but they gave me this pamphlet and they want to talk about God."
It was the Jehovah's.
Yes. We have
a Jehovah's in Canada?
Oh yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses are everywhere.
Oh.
Jehovah's Witnesses here in Bruce County. Like, they're big here.
So this wasn't my last run-in with them either. So, years go by, right? Like, so that was, they had a good laugh that, hey, Ray got to answer the door and there was Jehovah's Witnesses. So years and years and years later, I'm now in high school. And we were living in a small cottage. It was my aunt's cottage in Sauble Beach, which in the wintertime, you might have 100, 150 people living there. Like, it was like dead. Like, there was nobody there.
Town, not that.
The town, yeah. Like, there was.
I was gonna say that's a lot of people for one house.
Yeah, no. In Sauble Beach, it's dead. Like, there's nobody there. And we were on we were in a cottage that was not made for winterization, and all of the cottages around us, there was nobody around.
Mm-hmm.
It was wintertime. It was dark at like 5 o'clock at night. So, we were just sitting down for dinner, and sure enough, we hear a on the door, and we're like, so who goes to get it? Of course, this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw the light was on, and we thought we'd come and say hello. Here's a pamphlet. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're good, thanks. Close the door. I learned my lesson.
I've already heard the sales pitch.
I don't even answer when it's the Jehovah's.
I don't know how they found us in the middle of nowhere like that. Like, it was like they were searching for somebody down there for some stupid reason, and
to convert, to pray for.
Oh yes, they had to convert me, and so they've tried many a time.
You're on their list. They keep finding you.
Sorry if anyone's a Jehov in the chat room.
There's not. They're telling us to get started with the show is what it's basically is what's going on. Sean's like, all right, let's start the show, Ryan, since they won't top 380 shows. You trying to steal my thunder, Sean? All right.
Fine.
Let me get my notes ready.
Oh, he's going to talk really fast.
Talk about before the show or whatever.
All right.
He's going to talk really, really fast.
Really? Shut up. All right. Going to get the intro going here. All right. Muting the mic.
You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 97. I am your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, if you could taste an 80s treat right now, which one would you pick? A, Oreo Big Stuff. B, Jello Pudding Pops. C, Keebler Magic Middles. Or D, Purple Saurus Rex.
Okay, well, I only know one of them.
Yeah.
All right, so let me explain some of them because I guess they didn't have some of them up there. The first one is the Oreo Big Stuff. We're not talking about like double stuffed Oreos. We're talking about an Oreo that was about like that big around.
Oh.
And like it was a softer cookie, but it still had the Oreo cream filling. It was awesome.
That tastes pretty good.
Jello Pudding Pops. I mean, just Jello pudding, but it's like frozen. And Keebler Magic Middles were cookies that were thicker, and when you open them up, they had fudge in the middle.
I heard about. I didn't have those.
Yeah, no.
I heard about those commercials.
Okay.
Good job, Eugene. You picked 4 things, and they don't know any of them.
They know one of them for certain because Chris and I have had a long conversation about it. So I'm going to ask her first. Chris, of those 4, which one would you pick?
Purplesaurus Rex.
That's my girl. Yeah, we had a long conversation about Purplesaurus Rex. So for those of you who don't know what Purplesaurus Rex is, in the 80s, Kool-Aid had these flavors that were mixed of 2 different flavors, and they were like berry and watermelon, or there were 3 or 4 of them. They were okay, except for one of them. One of them was grape and lemonade, and it was the shit. Oh, it was so good.
So good.
So good.
Of sweet and tart. Quinn would read it. Purplesaurus Rex.
Probably.
Purplesaurus Rex now with a little vodka.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, we also talked about our idea for the ultimate version, the Welch's Concord Grape mixed with the Simply Lemonade.
Yes.
Put that together, and then maybe put some vodka in there if you want to. But anyway, Ray, of those 4 things, which one would you pick?
Give me the Oreo. That sounds delicious.
It was good.
And fuck you for bringing it up.
I'll tell you why it's really hurting for me to bring that up here in just a few minutes. But our special guest for the evening, she's never been on this show. She's been on our previous show before. Basically coming straight from the 80s, because if you're watching the YouTube version of the show, she came decked out, is my wife, Christy.
I'm totally there.
Christy, of those 4 things, which one did you pick?
Pudding Pops.
Pudding Pops?
Oh, yeah.
Do you love Pudding Pops growing up?
Yes.
They were good.
I don't know why they stopped making them.
I don't either. It's one of those things that's like, why? You know what's funny is they probably still make them like in parts of the country. It's just not like all across the country or anything.
But I did love a big stuff.
Those are so good.
So since we're talking about, food and one thing in Canada that was really popular, they don't make it anymore. I wish they did. And I've called them about it a few times. Nestle made rice pudding, and it came in the can that you had to peel open. And
really,
it was fucking delicious.
Pudding. I don't ever remember that being down here.
I don't either.
Yeah, I've never had it. We never had rice pudding when I was a kid, so I didn't know about it either.
For one of my birthdays, my parents found a big can of it, and that's what I got for my birthday.
Nice.
I was excited.
How old were you, Ray, when that happened?
You look at me, it's yeah. And it's all yours.
Nice. What age were you when that happened?
Oh, I was like 8.
Oh.
I was about to say, if you were like 20, what was the expiration on the can?
Yeah, that would have been a little scary.
No, I don't remember the last time we had it. I just remember, you know the pudding that used to come on the can.
Yes, I remember those.
It was that, but it was rice pudding, and it was delicious.
Nice.
I don't know if I've ever even had regular rice pudding.
It's good. Ray makes really good rice pudding.
Pardon?
It's really good.
Sorry.
Tired.
Yeah, the thing I almost put on here, but it was like snack food, and then I was trying to figure out the 4th one. I almost put the was it the McDLT, the one that was separated, had the hot side hot and the cold side cold, and freaking George Costanza did the commercials for it.
Yeah.
Did they all have that up there?
The what?
Okay, I think it was called the McDLT.
At McDonald's.
At McDonald's, and the whole gimmick to this thing was, it was a
rectangular styrofoam container.
Jennifer would freaking flip if she knew about this.
And half of it was your warm part of the burger with your meat and cheese and whatever, and the other half was the cold part with your lettuce and tomato or whatever else was on it. So that when you got it, you could put it together yourself.
That's right. I do remember. I remember the commercials, but I was always like, what? We don't get that up here.
Something else, though, with McDonald's in the 80s is the Happy Meals, because they had collector toys.
Yeah.
So you had to go at least every Friday when the new toy came out, because you had to get the collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you remember that? We didn't eat at McDonald's a lot, though. My mom can't eat McDonald's, so we never went.
See, we ate enough of it, but we never... Our stores always got like quadruple of one and none of the other toys. Like it was, there was always the one toy that you could never get because
exactly, yeah.
Never got it.
My granny still has the Garfield glass mugs that came with Happy Meals.
I remember those.
Wow.
I don't. They're still, and they still look okay, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the thing. Like, if you put them in the dishwasher, like all the stuff would go off. If you washed them by hand, though, you could actually keep them in pretty good condition. So, Ryan says they stopped making pudding pops because they kept putting people to sleep too soon. That was pretty bad. But I did laugh out loud on that one. So, as you can guess, we are talking about the 80s. Last week we talked about the 70s, which was the genesis of pop culture. I was really kind of hoping, particularly Lainey was going to be on this evening because of the comment I was going to make, and that is, after doing research and thinking about it and everything else, of course, I'm sure she would say, well, definitely not for music, but whatever.
Whatever. 80s music rocked.
The 80s, maybe the greatest decade for pop culture ever, because so much stuff started in the 80s and that is still going today. So that's why I attest that it may be the greatest decade ever. So, with that said,
the 70s started it, which is what we talked about. Like 70s started this, but the 80s took it on full force.
And exactly full force. So, on the notes that I have, the first thing that I wrote down was fashion, which is apropos considering who I have sitting next to me. So fashion wise, in the early 80s, for women, it was the minimalist look, and then aerobics, and then this professional. So we had pantsuits and all this other stuff. Minimalist started off in the early 80s. There was a minimalist women's look.
Well,
so.
I was like 2, so don't remember that.
Then the mid 80s is where we get what we think of as 80s decor, kind of what you've got on here. Bright colors, mini skirts, scarves, jumpsuits, shoulder pads. Hell yeah, with the shoulder pads.
Oh yeah. My mom rocked the shoulder pads. My mom's a petite woman, so shoulder pads.
I already have shoulders of a football player. I do not need pads on top of those.
Yeah, I have that issue as well, and
so Logan.
I can't wear suits properly because they have the pad in there, and I just look like I don't know. It looks so bad.
You look Romulan, is what you're saying? Romulan from TNG.
Oh.
They like stick way out.
But another popular clothes for women in the 80s were called units.
What were those?
I think it was called units.
Were they jumpsuits?
They weren't jumpsuits, but it would be pants and shirts, and they would be solid colors. But you buy them separately to mix and match the colors.
Oh, my mom was really into the onesies, like the jumpsuit onesies. She was big into that. That with a banana clip.
Oh yeah, the banana clip.
I had a few
banana
clips. Pretty hardcore. We haven't mentioned the bicycle shorts.
Oh yeah.
90s though, because
it was 80s.
Was that 80s?
Oh, it had to be the 80s.
Leggings, Keds, Sperry's, and then in the chat room, I'm seeing acid wash jeans. Yes. Yeah. Crimped hair was huge.
Yes, I had a crimper.
So
I didn't have a crimper because nobody knew how to do my hair, so it was just a fro 24/7.
I had a perm.
Nice. Men's athletic early was athletic look, big hair, members only jackets. Yes, that was the shit back in the 80s, was the members only jacket.
What about London Fog?
London Fog, yes, I remember those too. The preppy look in the early 80s.
Poppy collar.
Yep. Mid 80s we had the Miami Vice look. Tropical shirts started becoming a big thing.
Your brother has linen pants like Don Johnson.
My brother does have linen pants.
And he wore them with these loafers, and I said, "What's up, Don?" And I've never seen him wear the pants again.
He hasn't. I think she pissed him off.
Good.
I bet you
they were cream colored linen pants.
Oh, Rudy.
Dude.
Yeah. Porn mustaches. Yes. The mustache. That was the time.
Yeah. Our dads were big into that.
They had horrible mustaches.
Our dads wore the same stuff. It was the shorter golf shorts.
Yeah, like
t-shirts.
Too short like
short men shorts. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, Dad, no. Like,
yeah.
With high socks.
Oh yeah. White sneakers though. They were white sneakers.
But it was white tube socks with the blue rings
around them.
Yep.
We're going to discuss music. I don't want to say something about music if that's coming up.
We're going to get to music.
Okay.
We're going to get to music. So, and then the late 90s, Doc Martens.
Late 90s.
Late 80s. Doc Martens parachute pants, which I always thought were the shit. Zubaz. Do you know what those are?
I don't know what that is.
Zubaz they're kind of like sweatpants, but they're kind of baggy, but specifically they were these bright ass colors. Like they would be white with like a hot pink like zebra stripe on them.
Oh,
maybe I should know the name of them.
Okay. And then one of my favorite things from the late 90s were jams.
80s.
Why do I keep saying 90s? 80s were jams. And jams were shorts. They were knee-length shorts. And one leg was like a solid color, like it'd be blue or green.
Stop. They were not knee-length.
Yes, they were.
They went like mid-calf.
They were not that long. They were not. I wore them. I know they were not that long.
Well, maybe it's just because you were taller, but some boys that wore them, they just look like short pants.
Okay, well, anyway, on me, they went to the knee. One leg was a solid color, and the other leg was like this just crazy ass like pattern. Like think traditional 80s pattern. So you've got like zigzags and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's probably just because they were trying to get rid of the material.
I wore a lot of jogging suit sets.
Yes.
Like the jogging sets and then the sweatshirt to go with it. I wore a lot of my mom.
And it would say the same thing on the sleeve that it would on the leg.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a big picture of Mickey Mouse or something on it, or something.
And then a little one like.
I didn't get to pick my clothes up. My mom does.
I know in the late 80s when I was like 5th grade heading into middle school, the Express came, the department store, the Express, and their big thing was sweatshirts with plaid shorts.
I remember that look. It
was a typical like mall store, and everybody shops at the Express.
I think we had Esprit.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was ours.
And the colors of Benetton.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't have any fashion sense. My haircut was a buzz cut, but I liked the bangs. So it had the little bangs, but everything else was a buzz cut.
My hair looked like Quinn's by the end of the 80s. My grandma had chopped it all off. I had really short hair.
I just had a spike.
Actually, my sister had a mullet.
I had a mullet because nobody knew how to do my hair.
Yeah.
She had a mullet because her hair was just crazy.
Another big thing was, I can't remember what they were called. But
jellies?
Jellies. I have jellies in the closet right now. But anyways, they were curly little loop thingies that you put in your shoes.
Oh, yes. The no tie.
Yeah.
You just pull them and
Yeah.
I forgot about those.
I don't remember the name of them.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because I had them in my LA Gear high tops.
LA Gear was a huge thing.
LA Gear.
And did you rock your LA Gear with your Swatch watch?
I did have a Swatch watch. I would wear a Swatch watch now.
And I just thought about this. I didn't have it on the thing, which is funny because they've come back. The snap bracelets,
yeah.
I remember those were huge.
Yeah.
I had one that was a ruler.
Uh-huh. Oh, so it was actually functional as well?
Yeah. You use it a ruler and you snap it back on.
You were so cool, babe.
Yeah.
Hell, I would wear that when I'm working. Like that would be awesome. How long is that? Hold on. I was just kind of checking out the chat. So, all right. So, anything else we want to add to fashion?
It was a very vibrant, expressive time with a lot of geometric shapes. Like it was.
Yes.
They had a lot of horrible fabric that they needed to get rid of, and they made it popular.
True fact. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I love the 80s fashion. It was like the higher the hair, the closer to God. Like it was bangs. And how
that was a competition.
Like it was crazy.
Well, I straightened my hair this morning, and I was going to do it all natural because it would have been bouffant. But oh well.
My mom had these giant, crazy
the
glasses that would come down her cheek.
The glasses were horrible.
Yeah, I call those the Blanche glasses from Golden.
She had Blanche. Yeah, basically
old grandma Blanche. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my mom had those, and her 80's fro.
My mom had those glasses too.
Your mom did.
They were like, they looked like a stop sign on each side.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So bad.
Well, before we move on to some of the bigger things, let's go ahead and hit a couple of the ones that
we both have our eyes closed.
We don't. Okay, well, it froze for half a second. It's okay though. Everyone still hears. Let's talk about video games, because we didn't really talk about too much in the 70s because that was the start. But in the 80s, like, it was the three big systems. I mean, I know there were other systems, but come on, there were three: the NES, the Genesis, and the Game Boy. Those were the big three, and I had all three. I don't think I got a Genesis until the 90s, though.
Let me just tell about my video games, because it'll be the shortest story ever.
It will be a short story, but it's still awesome.
Chris's story will be shorter, but that's okay.
Of course, got a Nintendo, the original Nintendo set, and we had the game that come with it.
Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Was it even Super, or was it just Mario
It's
Brothers?
Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Yeah, and Duck Hunt. And then I had Rad Racer.
Oh, good one.
And John Elway football.
Why did you have John Elway football?
Because I like the Denver Broncos. We used to go to Colorado every year.
Really? I didn't know. So it was bought for you. I thought maybe, because I'm like, Papa wouldn't have played it. But...
No.
Oh, okay.
And so
I learned something.
I had it in my bedroom, but my grandfather bought a van, one of those lovely Dodge Ram child kidnapper vans. And, that has a couch in the back, because, we didn't have to wear seatbelts or anything as kids back then.
That's right.
And there was a TV in the van with a Nintendo system. And I was pretty fucking cool with my 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never sit for hours and play it. I just never got into video games.
And that's fine.
But that's my story.
Sitting right here, let's see, right there. It's kind of hard to see because it has the magnifier on it. But there's my original Game Boy. Still works. My original Nintendo, I don't think here's behind me, but it's sitting over here in a box with all of my games. In
a box that he crafted himself.
No, I didn't craft this one. That was a different one.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, shop class 8th grade. Man, like, I had an Atari 2600, and the Nintendo was the big thing. And my brother wanted a Nintendo. Lewis wanted a Nintendo. I did not want a Nintendo. I got an Atari. I'm fine. So for Christmas, I got the last game I ever got on my 2600, which, by the way, is also sitting behind me here. Last game I ever got on my 2600, and it still works, was Ghostbusters. And I remember opening it up, and I was all excited. So I went to my bedroom, and I hooked up the Atari, and I started playing it. And I don't understand how to play this game because there's like no instruction manual, and it doesn't make sense. It's a horrible, horrible game. But it's Ghostbusters, so I was excited. Meanwhile, my brother is in the kind of like playroom or whatever with my dad. My dad is sitting there reading the instructions on how to hook it up. My brother figures out how to hook it up regardless, hooks up the Nintendo. I'm playing for a little while, get frustrated. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go check what's going on in there. I go in there, sit down, pick up the controllers, play Super Mario Brothers. Done. I may have touched my Atari 2 or 3 more times, and that was it.
He didn't want a Nintendo.
I didn't want one.
The Nintendo is the 80s. It's simplistic yet just so iconic, right? Like it's I wasted so many lives like it's insane. I wrote down a couple of quick games that I remember playing for hours from the Nintendo. So Super Mario and Duck Hunt, as we already talked about. My parents skipped Super Mario 2. Mm-hmm. But my cousin had it, and I loved it, but I never got to play it enough. But they did get me Super Mario 3. Played a lot of Tetris, Punch-Out, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I just love playing that one. Excite-Bite, Mega Man, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest was the one that I got, and that's what my introduction to Castlevania.
I love that game.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. I didn't get the Genesis until the 90s. It might have been late 80s that I got it. I don't remember when it came out right off the top of my head, but I also got Sega Game Gear in the 90s as well, and
okay,
still have that, and it still works.
Nice.
Crazy.
It kills batteries.
So bad.
Oh yes, it eats batteries. Like I think that's the one that Cy said. It's either that or the Lynx, and they got an adapter that would like go into the battery slot and let you play, using the car charge or whatever, and it like killed his mom's car or something somehow. Like it drained the battery. Like it messed up, did something or another. I wish he was on to tell that story, but yeah. I never had a Game Gear.
Oh, it was awesome. Mortal Kombat and Sonic the Hedgehog.
I didn't have any of that. My friends.
Oh yeah.
My best friend in 5th grade had all that stuff. She was spoiled, so she got everything.
So you just went to her house and played it.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know. See, but for me, the 80s also was the time of the rentals, right? You were able to go down to you went into the store and you're able to check out the new game, and you could beat it and then take it back, which was awesome too. The rental game was actually a really good way of doing it.
Ray, did you have that tattoo on your hand? Here?
I was down there.
You did?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't think so.
No.
He got it like 2 weeks after we got back.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry, I just noticed it.
It's all good.
80s.
One of the smaller categories I wanted to hit real quick too, but people will probably have input as well. Let's talk a little bit about the technology, because it kind of goes right along with the video games. The personal computer. This is the rise of the personal computer, the IBM personal computer. Of course, Apple was taking off at this time. CDs. This was like the big time for.
Yep.
And then even though the Walkman, and you brought this up last time, technically the Walkman dropped in 79. The Walkman was the 80s. Like everyone freaking had a Walkman.
Yeah, I had a Walkman.
So.
Yeah, it was introduced in 79, but yeah, the bright yellow one is what I remember as a kid, and my dad running around with that when he was doing his jogging. The story that we told about that one. But anyway, I remember the gray class. You'd have to unlock it and then open it up, take the tape out, put it over, but it had an auto switch. So if you ran from the other side, it would switch to the other side for you.
Yep, that was one of the big deals about it.
When I got my Walkman, I got my Debbie Gibson tape.
Ooh.
I got Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson.
I was really big into Tiffany.
And I also had Electric Youth Perfume. But I got Debbie Gibson and Poison on tape. That was two different genres of music.
But both 80s. 80s is all hell.
I had two parents and grandparents and basically everyone around me that were not up to date with the technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have any of that stuff.
Oh.
None of it. Because nobody in my family cared about it.
And I had two parents that wanted to be with the new technology, but didn't know how to use it.
Mm-hmm. They still don't. They still don't.
They still like the new stuff, but they're like, Ray,
Okay.
Computer, can you show us what to do?
I'm pretty sure the only reason I probably got a Walkman is, well, my grandfather, he likes to try new technology.
He does. He'll at least give
so
stuff a
if he came
shot.
to music, definitely he wouldn't have cared. But my mom is, I was raised by my grandparents, but my mom is only 15 years older than me. So growing up in the 80s, she was late teens, early 20s. So I'm pretty sure that's why I would get some of the things like a Walkman, because she was in the prime of the 80s, still growing up and being into all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
The VHS player took off at this time, and I told my story last time about going and what was it? Lainey said, I don't remember. Was it Lainey that said, I don't remember a time before Blockbuster? Renting VHS tapes, freaking awesome. What's funny, as a kid, there were certain movies that my brother and I always wanted to rent over and over and over again. And then, my parents were like, well, damn, we're spending all this money on this tape. Why don't we just go buy it? How much is it? What?
Yeah. Gonna keep renting it.
Gonna keep renting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when the Betamax fade out, because I remember using our Betamax
in
at
the
least
80s.
through the mid 80s.
Yeah, the 80s. It was a battle, but VHS was already like taking over at that point.
Oh.
So
Betamax wouldn't do porn, so the VHS won.
My grandparents still have their Betamax player
I told them.
and tapes that actually play.
I told them.
Sometimes I'll pop in a tape because it was big to record a show on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'll pop in the tape just to see 80s commercials.
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
Holy shit, I need to borrow their thing and see if there's any commercials on there like that aren't on YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, you probably some local ones you'd be able to find.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would be worth it. That would be worth.
Well, they're coming next weekend. I'm sure Papa could bring it.
That might be a fun project. I think I still have my converter too. So, that might actually be fun. The mobile phone started taking off, and of course, the mobile phone at that time was a brick that was like that
Zach
big.
Morris.
Yep, Zach Morris brick phone.
Yeah, 83 was when it was introduced, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. What, the brick phone?
Yeah, they introduced it in 1983. Logan looked at me sideways when I said that. She's like, "What?" Yeah, the mobile phone. You mean there was a time before the mobile phone? What did you think we was, hun?
Yeah, because up to that point, we all had the phone. We all had maybe a couple of phones in the house, but you always had the one phone, probably in a central location, probably somewhere like in the kitchen, that had the super long cord.
Oh yeah.
That always got tangled up after one use.
Yeah.
And I pissed off with my sister every time because afterwards you'd be like fighting with it.
Oh, yes.
The house.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we got our first cordless phones in the 80s, maybe even the late 80s, but the kind that had the silver thing you had to pull out.
Yep.
In the home.
I forgot about that.
Because I remember when we got ours, I thought, we are so cool.
Let's see here. The camcorder was also introduced in the 80s.
Dad and his stupid camcorder.
Listen, I would love to take the tapes that my dad has recorded and actually make movies out of them because it has so much tape time. Like I have hours of my life of just random walking around, and I'd love I would love to clip it all together and actually make something out of it.
Oh, your dad.
I think it would be hilarious. Because I could probably do a couple of different movies, like a comedy, a serious suspenseful one, and just add different music and all this stuff. I could probably do it. And
the thing is that he'd set it up and you'd have to watch it.
Oh
look
yeah,
what I taped. Look what I taped.
Oh yeah, no, he'd be look guys, look. This was an hour ago.
No, but then when we started dating, he figured out how to hook it up to the television, so we'd have to sit there.
Oh yeah, we watch old tape for like hours.
But I remember your cousin George being over there, and he's asleep through all of it because it's 45 minutes of walking through Disneyland that nobody cares about.
No, the big walking one was over in Vancouver. We went over to Vancouver, and it's just Dad randomly, recording, and then he'll just stop and then walk, and then next thing you know, we're recording somewhere else. There's big trees and all these people walking around. You hear people talking in the background, and then he stops at a meet, like just these hard breaks. Oh God, his editing was not very good. Like I said, likes to think that he'd keep up with the technology, and just no idea how to use it.
Still like that.
My favorite.
Go on.
So my favorite scene that he recorded. We went across a suspension bridge in Vancouver, and it was over top of this waterfall, and it's this gorgeous area. Except the dad forgot to hit the stop button, so he's recording it as he's walking. So all you see is this swinging look down the suspension bridge below you.
That's hilarious.
Oh, your stomach still twists every time you look at that video. It's like, whoa, that was a really high bridge.
I was gonna say the first camcorder I remember my family having. My dad bought it. It was so there's a VCR and there's two parts to it, and then there's the camera, and the camera's like big, like it's a good size camera that you put on your shoulder. Exactly right, but it didn't have a place for the VHS tape. So what you had to do was, like I said, it was a big VCR. Part of the VCR came out, like half of the VCR came out and went into a bag, a carry bag or whatever, like a shoulder bag. And so you put the shoulder bag on and you ran a cord from it to the camcorder. It was a nightmare. It was heavy as hell. Yeah, it was ridiculous. And of course now we just do everything on our phone. But,
exactly.
So
and it's much better quality.
It's a little better quality. That was the other thing. Like I tried taking it one time on a school trip because I told the teacher, I was like, "Hey, can I record this for like my project?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." Yeah, this is back when you had to white balance and everything else, so everything was completely blown out. Didn't look like garbage. Yeah, it was. Needless to say, I ended up not being able to use it for my project. So, yeah.
Poor Eugene.
Yes, poor Eugene.
Since we're still on technologies and stuff like that, arcades were absolutely huge.
Yes.
Loved going to the arcade in the 80s. Every town had the arcade that you went to.
Mm-hmm.
And every mall, that's where you'd find the boys when the moms went shopping.
That's right.
I never did the arcade.
It's okay.
I didn't do the arcades either.
We forgive you because it gave us more time on the arcade.
That's right.
I would probably be shopping.
I would probably have been shopping or in the food court.
Yeah. No, I remember that's whenever you move to a new town, that's the first question you ask. Where's the arcade?
Yep.
The way you can, and that's where you meet people. That's where I still have friends from when I was a teenager that I met at the arcade. Yeah, it's.
When did you guys do your putt-putt thing? Was that in the 80s?
That was in the 80s, yeah. We had a putt-putt that had like a big arcade inside, and of course you could play games and stuff. And I've told this story before, but we had Super Saturday, and it was like $5, just to give you an idea, $5, and you got to play all the mini golf you wanted from 10 till 2. You got a hot dog, a soda, and 40 tokens. And my mom would drop my brother, myself, and Lewis off and just go. And she's like, I'll be back at 2. We're like, all right.
We do that with the kids. So there's an arcade in Sauble Beach.
Yes.
And they have cards that you can preload or whatever, and they rack up points and stuff like that. They can.
Yeah, it's not $5 anymore though.
No, but we do this. We each give them their card. We each give them $20. They know how to load their cards up, and then we're like,
yeah,
bye.
I'm so happy that arcade is there.
See you later.
Because we're gonna be over here.
Yeah.
Come see us over there when you're done. And so we'll just sit, we'll have some lunch, we'll do that. Next thing you know, the kids come back, usually a lot quicker than I thought they would be.
$20 doesn't last too long.
No.
Well, when some games want like $2 a game, it's like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quinn loves
Also, to that story, Eugene went and buy Rudy nachos.
Really? You had to bring this up.
Aww.
You wouldn't buy him nachos?
No, he's like, dude, I'm hungry. I'm like, we just had a hot dog. Mom will be here shortly, but I'm starving. I'm like, dude, it's like $1 for like 3 chips and just a single squirt of cheese. That's ridiculous.
Still wouldn't buy him.
Of course, he still remembers that shit too. That's what's funny. I was gonna bring up, I don't know, were malls like a big thing in the 70s? I mean, I'm sure they had malls, but like to me, when I think mall culture, I think 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that it was a thing. It's just
like it wasn't the place to go to hang out like it was in the 80s.
No, well, again, the arcades were in the mall, and then that's where you started, and then food court and all that other stuff afterwards. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely, 80s is big time for shopping.
Oh yeah,
consumerism, capitalism, huge.
Oh yeah. I was asked. We're talking about stuff. I was asked to bring up one of the greatest cars ever created from the 80s, the DeLorean. iconic. I don't know about greatest, but it was definitely iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Because of specific movie, and that's all.
Yeah. There is, like, if I owned a DeLorean, I'd love to own a DeLorean. Like, I'd love to own one that's decked out and looks like it does from Back to the Future. But it'd be one of those things that I'd have to seriously consider being like, so can we drop a, I don't know, reliable motor in this thing, maybe?
So there was rumor of DeLorean coming back.
I remember that.
And then they were talking about making an electric version. And that way, that
would be interesting.
I bet you there's got to be somebody out there that's making an electric, or who has made an electric conversion kit for it, so that you can just drive around in a DeLorean, but it being electric.
That would be badass, actually.
I'd be willing to do.
If you had stupid amounts of money, you would do that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'd have a DeLorean, and I would have a switch on there so it would light up as if I was going to go, and it would pour gas on the road in the width of the tire and light it up. Hell yeah!
What about a T-top Camaro?
Oh, that's pretty 80s.
Yeah,
the T-top.
See,
the
Corvette was only popular because of Barbie, because the 80s Corvettes are terrible cars.
Yes.
I had a Barbie Corvette.
Which brings us to our next subject. Let's go ahead and talk about toys. Toys.
That's my list.
Jean says I didn't have a childhood.
Okay,
even though
because I will list off toys, and she's like, I didn't have that, or she didn't know about it. And I'm like, did you have a childhood? Because it was big stuff too. It wasn't just like, some random stuff or whatever.
I wasn't into G.I. Joe and that kind of stuff.
I'm not saying that. Okay, so let's talk about some stuff that I had listed here.
What about
do what?
Light Bright.
Okay, that's actually a good place to start. I loved Light Bright. In fact, I want to get a Light Bright, and like do my name and stuff in it, and make it like my name plaque or whatever outside my door at my office. I think that would be awesome. But they want like $40 and $50 for it, and I'm like, it's a light bulb with little plastic pegs. Fuck you.
Pretty sure you could 3D print that shit.
I probably could. Now that you say that. Damn you, Ray.
Look at Christy. Now she's mad at you.
No, I'd play with it.
Yeah.
I had a Light Bright. I love Light Bright.
It was awesome. The first thing I had on my list is because I looked up most iconic toys from the 80s, and pretty much the thing that comes on top of every single list is the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Hell yeah.
Patch doll. We lived up in northern Ontario, and my mom had to drive 8 hours to the nearest city, big town, and waited in line to buy me and my sister Cabbage Patch.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually only had one real Cabbage Patch doll. The first one I got, they tried to pass off as a Cabbage Patch doll. And I was like, this is not a Cabbage Patch doll.
How dare you?
Do you please tell me you remember the name of it?
His name was Aaron. It was a boy, but I don't remember the company.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Was it like, I don't know.
I was like, this
Lettuce Head
not a
Kid or
Cabbage Patch
something?
doll. Santa brought it to me, and I was pissed.
When did Santa Claus cheap out?
So then I think for my birthday, I got a real Cabbage Patch doll.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Logan, we bought Logan a Cabbage Patch doll when she was little.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're talking about like dolls, I remember one for boys, and I had one.
My buddy.
My buddy. Yep.
My buddy.
My buddy. Wherever
I go, he's gonna go. My buddy.
My buddy.
My dad hated that sort of thing.
Your dad was so mad when your mom bought that for you.
Oh,
It's a doll.
Yeah. He's like, what do you want to play that thing for? Here's my gun.
I had the girl version. Well, I don't know if it was really the girl version, but her name was Cricket, and she did the same things as my buddy. I had a Cricket.
Okay.
I had a Cricket doll. Yes. I drew all over her face with black marker.
Okay, well, since we're on your stuff.
Look.
Aww.
Is that an original?
My sister had this in her basement. I don't know why, but it's a sprite. His name's Lucky. And this was mine. I think I got this in 85 or 86.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Not a solid white one like that.
This freaks the kids out, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
I think
they
this
hate
is the creepiest thing on the planet. And I don't know why.
It's not creepy at all.
No. It smells like her basement too, but I don't know why I had it. And she gave it to me randomly recently, and I was like, yes, I'll take it. And then I showed the kids, I'm like, look, and they're like, what is that? Right.
Okay, so, but speaking of things that are like, oh God, what the hell is that? Teddy Ruxpin.
My sister had a Teddy Ruxpin.
Okay, my brother had one because I think it was Cub Scouts. I think we were in Cub Scouts, or he was in the one that was before Cub Scouts. And there was a bowling tournament event thing, and he won a raffle or something and won in Teddy Ruxpin. And I mean, we played with it for a while, but it was just like.
See, my sister started putting Michael Jackson tapes in it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You started putting other music in, and it's like, well, this plays music. Okay.
Rudy still sleeps with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When the battery started wearing down.
Start going.
But for the 80s, the amount of technology that was in that thing, I mean, granted, I know it's expensive, but still, the fact that it did all that stuff was still like, this is pretty cool. But
you had an animatronic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Never thought.
Yeah, the eyes and mouth moved and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Big wheel. Did anyone else have a big wheel?
Yeah.
Because big wheel was the shit.
I wanted one so bad. And the most I got was a banana skateboard that I couldn't ride because it was too narrow.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
No. They're like, well, you can sit on it and ride it down the sidewalk. No.
You seen that where people have made the adult size big wheel? I'd roll with that. That would be fucking awesome.
But
because the biggest thing about the big wheel was you'd roll, you go really fast, and then you turn the wheel and you could spin out. It was awesome.
Yeah, but I flipped a lot of times.
How the fuck did you flip a big wheel?
Not flip over, but
right?
Like flip to the side.
Exactly.
I don't know. Taking it turn too fast.
I guess. Damn.
How fast were you turning?
I know, right? Were you going down a hill at the time?
I was a reckless child.
Because I could understand, like, if you were going down, like, the slope of the driveway or something, but...
I just remember falling off of it a lot.
Okay, but the only way that you do it is if you were going down the driveway and you hit the sidewalk that was a different angle.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember, what I was doing. I just remember falling off of it a lot.
Yeah, weird.
Maybe I was drunk.
Ryan says, I still have the greatest 80s toy treasure, Pee Wee Herman doll. I remember that. My mom, not that my brother and I wanted one, but she refused. She was like, nope, you're not getting one of those. We're like, well, I didn't really want one, but now that you said it, maybe.
Okay, so speaking of toys that your parents wouldn't buy you, since we're on that one anyway, how about the Power Wheels?
I never got a Power Wheel ever. They were way too expensive.
Oh, way too expensive, but they looked awesome.
Yeah. I got one when I was really young from my grandparents. But yeah, I never had any of the other ones. Of course, we're still going through that shit because like we would go to Toys R Us and my boys still wanted to sit in it. And I'm like, no, guys, I think y'all are too big. Technically, they could have ridden in it, but I'm just like, Jesus. But guys, this is like $400. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Our kids never experienced for the very same reason. Like, I'm not buying you a $500.
Well, the only reason that my boys had any in the first place is because all the ones that we had for them, we bought from like Craigslist or, Facebook, whatever. And then like I would go buy a new battery because the batteries really weren't that bad. They were maybe $20 or $30. But then when I figured out you could put a little bit bigger battery in it and get some more juice out of it, I was like, this is the shit.
We only paid like maybe $30 for the Power Wheel.
We paid $30 for the Power Wheel, maybe $20 for the battery, maybe even $30. Like I'd match that or whatever. Still less than half of what you'd pay for an actual one. And you tromp down on it and the wheels would just go before they finally caught and would go. I've got video of it. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't allowed to have Garbage Pail Kid cards.
I never was into them.
No, neither was I.
I wanted them. My parents would be like, that's gross. No, you're not getting that.
Yeah, but I have some now as an adult in my desk at work.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Lots
hilarious.
of things you don't know about me.
Apparently so. The next one I had, of course, yes, the Star Wars toys did come out in the 70s, but the 80s is when we got all the fucking Ewok Village.
Yeah.
Man, that was a lot of cool ass Star Wars toys. Pound Puppies. Y'all remember Pound Puppies?
I brought that one up too.
Yep. That was something else that almost everyone had at least one, but you didn't really. And see, I think that was part of the problem with some of these toys. It was like, go get one. Okay, I've got one. Now what?
Yeah.
Whereas fucking Nintendo cracked the code with gotta catch them all. Oh, you fuckers. Guess what? Here's a new 100 Pokemon to collect. You fuckers. But yeah. That's things I'm spending.
80s toys, iconic troll dolls.
Oh, yeah. They were here. I never got into those either.
Oh, I did big time.
Oh, they were huge in our school.
Oh, yeah. They were really big.
Everybody had like
they were all
on their
lined
desk,
up
and
on your desk because we were allowed to put them on our desk.
Yes.
And if you had big, like there was the big ones, and then the regular size ones, and then the little bitty ones, and then the ones with the jewels in their tummies, and they were huge in our school.
Oh yeah,
big time. I remember that.
If you didn't at least have 3, you were a loser.
Yeah, you were a loser.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't have cut it.
I might have had a couple of troll dolls. I wasn't really into them.
Ray, Micro Machines.
Ah, dude, I had so many Micro Machines.
They were so cool. I think my mom still has my Micro Machines at her house, actually. I need to look next time I'm there because the boys would love them. They'd lose them because they're tiny, but they'd love them.
My nephew actually has. I think my sister has them now, or if she doesn't, my mom does have some of them. I still have a few of them. I remember you do there's the color changing ones, so you put them in the hot water and then you throw them in the water. But along with that, obviously, was the Hot Wheels. That was huge for us. And then along with that, I was gonna say, I mean, you have the big ones, right? G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Barbie,
of course.
Big into Barbie.
I was saving Transformers. So since you brought it up, Transformers was and will always still be my shit. Like I have the reissue of quite a few of them back over here in these cabinets. And actually, what's funny is Walmart has announced, or Hasbro announced through Walmart, they're going to re-release some of the original models. So like Starscream, some of the smaller ones like Bumblebee and stuff like that, they're going to re-release, which when they did this series, they didn't have those. So I may have to look for some of the smaller guys, but they're releasing Devastator. And I'm like, how much? They want $75. And I'm like, the original Devastator wasn't that cool. Like, especially considering the one that I have down there is like 2 feet tall when you transform it and it's fucking awesome. So I may have to pass on that one, but yeah. Oh God, I love Transformers. Transformers was my shit.
Chris, did you have the Barbie dresser thing that when you open it up, it becomes like her wardrobe and you could hang her clothes?
I did not, but I had, and I can't remember if it was in the 80s or not, but I did have the camper van. So I can't remember if it was, I think I was 10, so it would have been like 91. So yeah, it was, I had the camper van and I had the Corvette.
Oh yeah, I had a hot pink Corvette.
Gem dolls that I cut the hair off of.
Oh yeah,
you cut the hair off your gem dolls?
Hair off of my gem dolls. What? No, this is what
Barbie's hair, and I got in trouble. And then they made a Barbie where you could cut her hair.
So
how did that work, by the way?
You like cranked her arm or something,
and her hair grew out.
That's weird as shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it had a ton of extra hair in her abdomen, right? And so
no, in her head.
Or it was in her head.
It was in her head.
So you only had a limited amount that you could actually cut away. But
I was gonna say, could you buy refills or something? Like
probably not.
Open up Barbie's back and refill the hair? That's just weird.
No.
Okay.
So speaking of weird toys.
Okay. What?
He-Man.
Yes.
They were some weird ass toys.
Yes, there were. And if you have not watched that, the Toys That Made Us about He-Man, that explains that shit completely. Like, I loved He-Man. I had a ton of He-Man too. Like, the only thing about some of the He-Man toys is though, like, some of them that had capes didn't come with a cape. So like Evil Lynn in the show had a cape, but she didn't have one. So my mom went and got like it was like a purple velvety fabric and made me a cape. And I was like, yes, now it looks like how it's supposed to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I freaking love the cats. Battle Cat and Panther.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome, man. I love those toys.
How about Thundercats?
Thundercats were the shit back in the 80s. Yep. I only had like Panthro. I never had any of the other ones.
I'm glad you have that comfy chair and I have a folding chair.
Well, do you want to swap chairs?
No.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, Ray. Rainbow Bright. That was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Did you have one?
Yep. And I had the little what's his name again?
His name's Lucky. He's a sprite.
I had a white one. I don't remember his name.
I had a Rainbow Bright doll, but she was too close to a light bulb and have her face melted.
Had Strawberry Shortcake doll.
Yep. That had that
when
one
you
going.
squeezed her belly, strawberry smell came out her mouth.
They just smelled like strawberries or whatever, like the fabric, everything smelled.
Yep.
Yes.
I remember as a kid going to the toy store and seeing them, and that was the thing everyone talked about because like there was a little open place on the package, and what was the bad guy? He was like
Purple Pie Man.
I was like, wow, he smells really good.
Yeah.
The thing is I vaguely remember watching Strawberry Shortcake cartoons, but I played with the doll more than I knew the cartoons. Like I didn't really know any of their characters.
Well, did they show the cartoon? That's the thing is they didn't necessarily always show the cartoons everywhere. So
maybe not.
Care Bears, that was fucking huge in the 80s. Like my brother and I had a huge collection of Care Bears. We liked them. We played with them. But it was more so my mom, like, oh no, we got to get them all. Like that was like the closest thing to like a Pokemon type thing. It was like, well, I've got this one and this one. Maybe I should just collect them all. So,
actually, I only ever had one Care Bear.
Really, I had more Care Bears than you did.
However,
Care Bear.
I like Grumpy Bear. He was my favorite. I felt like
I could see that.
I had Sunshine Bear,
like when I was
the yellow one.
What's funny is my mom has let my brother, because like I said, she still has most of them, if not all of them, at her house. She let the boys bring one home. So in the boys' closet is Birthday Bear.
Aww.
Original, not the new ones. It's an original Birthday Bear. So let's see. Ryan says My Little Pony and Smurfs. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, we haven't talked about. So sorry. I'm going to run through my list, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Popples.
Yeah, I remember Popples.
My sister had Popples.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were huge.
Yes. Awesome toys, too.
Yeah. Snoopy Snow Cones.
I always wanted
one
of those.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, it took forever, and it made like that much. Like it was this little bitty cup. Yeah.
I remember in the Sears catalog, the Christmas wish book, and I always wanted.
Yes.
I learned how to roller skate on the Fisher-Price roller skates.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
I had those, yeah.
The Wrinkles
dogs.
The dogs.
Yeah. They were like, they looked like Shar-Peis. They had all these wrinkles.
Yeah, but they called them Wrinkles.
Yeah. The Tonka trucks, obviously. Go along with Hot Wheels. Moon shoes. I always wanted moon shoes.
I never got moon shoes.
Would it be the same as moon boots?
No, these were like
like
it was like a trampoline for each foot.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
I had moon boots like Napoleon Dynamite wears.
And the last thing on my list was the WWF, not WWE.
Yep.
The Wrestling Federation figurines with the ring, and you like threw them at each other. And
yep.
I wasted so many hours playing with those.
Not wasted. That was time well spent.
All right.
Playtime is important for children. You know this, so it was important for you too. So.
What was the first one you listed, Ray?
Popples.
Yeah, the Popples. It was a ball.
Animals? No.
Yeah,
they were
plushies.
And they would roll up into a ball.
Like
it was like a little pocket, right? And then you pop.
Yeah.
I remember something called the Wuzzles.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
And I think you could fold them and change them into something.
Okay.
I think.
I had a blue.
Crap! I just thought of something else.
I don't remember.
I like the popples.
Crap! You said something.
He
I
liked
can't
the
remember.
popples.
Oh, all right.
I can't. There was something that you brought up something, and it made me think of something else, and now I forgot what it is. I'll if I remember it, I have to come back to it. So.
Oh, wait.
Cruise Tonka trucks.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. You said Tonka trucks. Okay, so here, this is what's funny. For some reason or another, I remembered the commercial, and I had one of these. It was an awesome toy. It was basically just like, it wasn't remote control. It was what are you doing? It was a car. It was like a big truck, like, it was a decent sized truck or whatever. And they were called the Animal. And it had, these big wheels on it, and you could basically just tell it to go forward. That's all you could do. You couldn't make it go backwards or anything, but it would go forward. But it had these claws that came out of, I'll do over here. These claws that came out of the wheel. So as like it was going up rocks and stuff, these claws would come out of the wheel and help it go over. And the whole.
Were they
Yes, they were claws.
Yeah. I do remember that.
So, and of course, the reason I thought about it is because for some reason or another, the theme song stuck in my head, and I was like, oh, I need to look this up. So I look up a commercial online, and I tell the boys, come here, look at this. I was like, look at this really cool toy Daddy had as a kid. I was like, I'm thinking, oh, they're going to look at it, and it's like, oh, it's a truck. Okay, so that's already awesome. Oh, it's got claws that come out. That's even better. I think Alex looked at me and goes, Dad, that's lame. And I'm just like, I wanted to say, fuck you, but I didn't.
You're grounded.
What about Garfield toys?
Never had any Garfield toys.
Well, not necessarily toys, but Garfield, like Garfield phone and the Garfield.
Oh, no, I did have a Garfield phone.
My sister had an Elf doll.
Oh, I always wanted an Elf doll. I fucking loved Elf.
I remember Charlie Brown figurines for some reason.
I do too, vaguely. You know what else I remember were figurines that didn't do anything but were highly collectible? Were California Raisins.
Yes.
Yes, I had 4.
Yeah.
4.
I had several of those too.
There were only 3 in the group.
No, I think there were 4.
Were there 4?
They started coming out with more of them. Then when they figured out, oh shit, we can make money on this. Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
I had big figurines. Oops, sorry. I had big figurines of the.
Not I milked it.
Yeah, the only ones I had were like small. They were little bitty.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, since it's very closely related to toys, we're gonna move to cartoons.
Okay.
Is that a good breath there, or?
Well, the biggest thing is that the big thing was waking up on Saturday mornings.
Hell yes, Saturday morning was the shit.
Like, that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
Now it's anytime.
Yeah.
And see, if we didn't stay up so late, and I mean, granted, not everyone stays over at my house for Geeks Weekend, but that was one of those things I was like, I wonder if we could do one, like if we ever did a Geeks Weekend and did like an 80s theme, and I would just have to tell everyone, listen, we are wrapping up early tonight. I understand, but we are going to bed early tonight. And everyone comes back over here 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yes.
We're having cereal.
Wearing the pajamas. We're fucking eating cereal and we're watching cartoons, and it's going to be the shit.
That'd be awesome.
Because Saturday morning was so, oh my God. I'm waking up, Smurfs, Voltron.
Yep.
Okay, here's the problem that I had. Here in Killeen, growing up, there were 2 ABC stations. And on Saturday morning, they played the exact same cartoons, except for 1.5 hour block. 1.5 hour block, one channel played Transformers, the other station played Voltron. And
what was he gonna do?
That was the problem. Because I was like, which one do I watch? And of course, I was mainly into Transformers, and I didn't realize it would be switched over to the other channel. And before I realized what was going on, I was like, where's Transformers? What is this? It's cool, but this is not Transformers. G.I. Joe, Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
I love the original Inspector Gadget, and unfortunately, even though they've done a really good job with a lot of remakes on cartoons, I don't care for the remake they did of Inspector Gadget on Netflix.
I don't even want to watch it.
No.
I just love the original so much because I loved Get Smart. I used to watch Get Smart on TBS as a kid, and I just loved it.
Well, I think the biggest problem is even though it's called Inspector Gadget, most of the episode seems to focus around Penny and this.
And the brain.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, it's supposed to be around the. Yeah. Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
I loved Muppet Babies. And did you know they did a remake? There's an active remake of Muppet Babies on right now.
No, Eugene, I didn't know
that.
You mentioned Thundercats, He-Man.
Yes.
Did you mention DuckTales?
No, I was getting there.
Okay.
Now that is one. Have you watched the remake that they've done of DuckTales?
No.
It's really good.
Okay.
Like I've almost like they put the first episode for free on YouTube, and I'm the style of it is awesome. The remake of the theme song, which of course is so fucking iconic, is awesome. But Ken plays Scrooge McDuck.
Nice.
And I'm just like, this is perfect. When they announced him, I was just like, nope, I'm down for this. So
that's awesome. Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the real Ghostbusters.
I fucking love Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Well, I have She-Ra. I watched She-Ra
religiously
when I was a kid. I had to watch She-Ra.
Garfield and Friends was one that
yes.
I love that show.
All about Garfield.
I couldn't miss that one.
Okay, were you in the Garfield camp or were you in the Heathcliff camp?
Heathcliff.
I was a Heathcliff kid.
I mean, I would watch Heathcliff.
I would too, but like if I had the choice between the two, I would
had
pick
a choice
Heathcliff.
Garfield.
Okay.
Sarcastic as fuck.
Yeah.
In the chat room, they're bringing up Silverhawks, Insectors, Mask. Mask was awesome. They also mentioned one called Centurions, which I know I've talked about in the back channel or whatever, which thinking about it now would be a dope ass cosplay. So, because basically you would just make the suit and then you could just make infinite weapons to attach to the suit and it would be awesome.
So there's a Canadian one that Sean would be absolutely pissed if we didn't mention, I'm sure.
Okay.
It's called The Raccoons.
They had it here. They played it on USA. Was it Sunday or Saturday? I think it was a Sunday Morning Express, and they played cartoons on Sunday morning, and I remember the raccoons being on there, and I loved it.
That was Canadian.
Yep. Shirt Tails.
Beetlejuice.
Yep. I loved that cartoon.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo. Smurfs you mentioned. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously.
Oh, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I loved Alvin and the Chipmunks. I didn't watch it, but Jim, were you a Jim fan?
I watched Jim.
I watched it, but I wasn't like all into it.
I like Jim way better than Barbie and the Rockers.
We showed the kids.
And the Rockers.
We showed the kids Gummy Bears.
Oh, that did.
They were like, "What the hell is this?"
They haven't been impressed so far with our childhood.
No.
Yeah, they were. What are they drinking? Are they on drugs?
The kids and stuff have not gone over. The movies have gone over much better.
Oh yeah. Which we will get to.
Puppy Pals. Wasn't that a big one? It was off of Pound Puppies.
Yeah. I think it was called Pound Puppies, but yeah, I remember it. Yeah,
Puppies.
I remember that. Yeah, when we started figuring out you have to have a cartoon series to go along with your toy to get it to go anywhere. Yep.
Thank you.
Panther.
Oh, yeah. Logan wants to learn how to play that theme song.
Which, by the way, my boys have found the old Pink Panther cartoons on, like, YouTube. They love watching them.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
They must get that from me.
They must.
Right? Like Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So when did that was 90s.
What?
I was gonna say not Looney Tunes, the other one.
Tiny Toons?
Tiny Toons?
Tiny Toons. That was 90s.
That was 90s, yep.
Eugene can sing the whole theme song.
Almost. So I drop out on some parts here and there, so. But okay, so
was Pee-wee's Playhouse in the 80s, or was that more 90s?
Oh yeah, no, that's 80s. Pee-wee's.
I think it was
all the
80s.
time.
I think it was 80s. I loved Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I loved it too.
Which, if you see the cowboy,
It's Lawrence Fishburne.
which is awesome.
Actually, a lot of people, the male lady is, I can't think of her name, but she's on like Law and Order and a lot of those shows. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Her name's like it's a weird name. She's an older black lady. She's usually like
her. She was the.
Yes.
Oh my God! My mind was just blown. Oh my God.
And then some of the other characters that he would have on, not all the time, but special guests, were totally like they're huge stars now. Epically something or she has an odd name.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look her up. Epically.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's a middle lady.
Yeah, she was the boss for the longest time on Law and Order. I know exactly who you're talking about. That's awesome. I didn't realize she was on Pee Wee's Playhouse. You just blew my mind.
Mega lega high, mega hiney ho.
Yep. My grandparents hated that show.
Yeah, so did mine.
Oh, Max Headroom. That was.
I
remember Max Headroom. That was a big deal.
Rescue Rangers.
Loved Rescue Rangers. All those Disney cartoons were fucking awesome.
Was that Chipmunks, Rescue Rangers?
Oh, yeah. She was the male lady. Sorry, I just
yeah.
Well, hello.
Well, let's go ahead and hit. We'll go ahead and hit TV. We'll save movies for last, but let's hit TV and then we'll hit music so Christy can shine. So, TV is basically the biggest thing when I looked up. Yes, when I looked up TV, the biggest thing that everyone wrote, of course, was this was the birth of MTV and music videos, and completely changed the way that music was.
Video killed the radio star, Eugene.
Yes, it did. Which was the first video they ever played on MTV. Cable TV became accessible to most people. Like it was a thing, but most people still couldn't afford it. And then the 80s, it became affordable. And then that's when we got Showtime and HBO. I still love that. That is like one of the greatest. Like that is in brain, so in my brain or whatever. So, let's see here.
Those kids.
Do what?
We get HBO's kids.
We didn't have it very long, but like when we did have it, like because it came on before every single movie, so that's how it's like the Netflix boom boom. Like it's that level type of thing.
Dolby digital for me.
Yes.
Turn it up.
I didn't.
Sorry.
I didn't. Oh God, that is one of the funniest things. When he's sitting there, the one guy's head explodes. Everyone's just like leaning back or whatever. And the grandpa.
Simpsons, 80s, Dolby Digital, head explosion. There's Grandpa Simpson. Turn it up. Yes.
I was gonna say I didn't watch any of these, but this was also the birth of the primetime soap opera. Dallas, Dynasty, Falcon Crest. I remember that because I was a kid in those times and I didn't want to watch that shit. But all the fucking adults did because that was the jam.
My mom watched all that stuff.
I never got into any of that, thank God.
We were
sci-fi, yes, Sean. Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Knight Rider.
Don't worry, Sean, it was on my list. Relax. We're good.
It was on the list. We're gonna get there. Okay, so the ones that he has listed, he's going off. Apparently, this was his big thing. Star Trek Next Generation, The Simpsons, like you said, Married with Children. I loved Married with Children. Probably shouldn't have been watching it, but whatever. The A-Team. A-Team is still one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I will fucking watch it if it comes on. Dukes of Hazzard. I like Dukes of Hazzard, but I never really got super into it.
I watched it quite a bit as a kid.
But the next one that Ryan listed, it was one of my all-time favorite shows, fucking Knight Rider. Yep. That was the shit. Yep. Oh, I love Knight Rider.
I love that you can still buy the kit, right, and put the LED red light.
Yes.
Part of me still wants to do that to my car.
Yes.
Well, come on, why not?
Hell yeah, man.
What about Sorry.
I was going to say, that was one of the best things about the book is the fact that he had a DeLorean decked out like from Back to the Future, but had the red bar and then, of course, had the Ghostbusters logo slapped on the wing. And I'm just like, dude, that is like the fucking perfect car.
Yep.
So, What were we gonna say?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
So
go on.
One of the shows that my parents watched that we watched with them was Cheers. I remember watching Cheers.
I love Cheers.
Yeah.
I remember watching Fall Guy.
Yes, that had an awesome intro too. That was a great intro.
Who was that guy that played him?
Quantum Leap.
Oh yes.
I loved Quantum Leap as a kid.
Loved Quantum Leap. I thought it was amazing. And
Count Bakula's still freaking hot as an old man.
Did you hear about the hidden ending? There's a bit of a documentary, or this woman's trying to get a documentary made. Somebody still has the film because she has the negatives of the film, of some of the frames where he's in the future.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's out there, and somebody's got it, and so she's trying to get money to try and get that released.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I would go back and I don't know if I'd watch the entire run, but I'd go back and watch episodes to kind of get back into it before I watch that. That would be worth it to me. That would be fun. Would you watch that with me? Really?
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, because you think Scott Bakula's hot, so.
He's hot as an old man on what is
NCIS?
NCIS New Orleans.
Yeah. Doogie Howser was listed here. I never was a Doogie Howser person.
Doogie.
I used to love watching Super Dave.
I remember Super Dave. Yep.
Like Super Dave.
The one that I still is a very guilty pleasure of mine back then. Golden Girls.
That was next on my list.
I watched Golden Girls. Awesome.
That's the funny thing. Watching it as a kid, it was funny. Watching it as an adult, you're like, I watched this as a kid because they are dirty old women.
They are very dirty old women,
and it's awesome.
So it is my favorite. Love
it.
Who's the Boss?
Yes, Who's the Boss? I used to watch that.
Sorry, I cut you off.
I was just going to say, I don't know if they fall into, not cartoons, but like Saved by the Bell would come on Saturday morning.
Yep, I love Saved by the Bell.
I mean, I'll still watch Saved by the Bell if it's on TV.
She will. She'll still watch it.
I will.
Oh, yeah, I'll still watch it.
And Punky Brewster.
Did you watch
Punky? Oh, yeah.
I didn't watch that one either. My sister did. Night Court was the one that I watched.
Yes.
Oh, I love Night Court. You know what's funny is Lainey didn't realize that was an actual show. And I'm like, that was a funny ass show.
4 seasons or something like that. Yeah, they did. It was funny. I love
Harry Anderson was so good on that show too.
Yeah.
And then
227. Did anyone else watch 227? Because it came on after Golden Girls. It was like, why not?
And that show Amen.
Yes, I remember that.
I remember the theme song for some stupid reason, but I never watched the show. Is that Amen?
Yep. Yes.
Never watched it, but I remember that.
Family Matters.
Yes.
I remember watching. I remember watching when that show first started, and I liked it. I liked Family Matters when it first started, but when it became the Urkel show, I was done.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, well, especially with the whole Steve and Stefan and all that other. It was like, what the fuck's going on?
And it was part of the big TGIF.
Yes,
Full House, Family Matters,
and one of the greatest fucking shows ever created. Perfect Strangers.
Yes.
That is still one of the best theme songs ever.
I love Belky.
I love that theme song.
What was the other one? There was 4 because always at 9 it was 2020. So it was only for 2 hours.
Perfect Strangers.
Full House. Matters.
Step by Step was.
Step by Step was
And then there was one called Just the 10 of Us.
I remember that one too.
How did we not talk about Alf?
Someone brought it up,
Alf
wasn't
on the TGIF.
No, but that was
like a Monday night.
That was Monday night because Alf came on, and I can't remember if he came on before or after the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because that was the shit.
We tried explaining Alf to the kids, and they're like, "Wait a minute." So he eats cats? That's horrible. I'm like, no, it's really funny.
No, it's funny.
Because
he gets a hairball.
Yeah, but he would always chase their cat around trying to eat it, always foil his plans, and they're just looking at us like horrified. Like, this is the dumbest show ever.
It was legit. It was fine.
It's really funny.
I thought that's the part they thought was weird. Not the fact that A, he's an alien, and B, he's a fucking puppet, and they're just like, he lives with us now.
one that tipped him over. Was like, no, that's not a good show. Logan was like horrified.
Yep.
Some of the other ones I had on there: Family Matters, Night Court, Cosby Show. Yes, I know everything with the fallout, but I'm sorry, the Cosby Show was hilarious.
It was.
But it was groundbreaking television for the 80s. So
here's one that I'm surprised you didn't bring up: Designing Women.
Oh yes.
Oh, Delta
Sugar Baker.
I remember watching that show because my mom loved it so much, and of course I thought it was funny.
Yep. Murphy Brown. We'd watch Murphy
Brown. I love Murphy Brown too as a kid, and I don't understand why. Like, it was about the news, and yeah.
Maybe that's where I get my infatuation with newscasters.
Maybe Seinfeld. I'll be honest. I was late to the game on Seinfeld. I think
that'd be more 90s.
It started in the 80s though. Seinfeld, Seinfeld technically started late 80s. It was late 80s, but I think it more was a 90s show, but I didn't really get into Seinfeld until it was like off the air and in syndication. And then when I started watching, I was like, why didn't I watch this show? This show is funny as hell. Which speaking of Seinfeld, Christy I'm trying to get work done last night and Christy's just putting something on to have it on. And they moved at least here in the U.S., they moved all of the Canadians in cars getting coffee.
Canadians in cars?
Comedians in cars getting coffee to Netflix.
You have your show.
Yeah, I know, right? They moved it all to Netflix, and she starts putting it on, and I'm like, I'm getting sucked in. I got to get up. I'm getting sucked in because it's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it because it's just, and you get a really good glimpse of, because Jerry Seinfeld is famous as fuck, and you get a really good glimpse of how he deals with it and how it's just, he doesn't care about it.
No.
And that's funny you bring that up because the one we were watching, she had on last night was with him and who does Between the Ferns? What's his name?
Oh, Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
And Zach Galifianakis is like he's like, it doesn't bother you? And he's like, no one cares. No one cares about me. I don't care.
Well, but I'm famous. Of course they're gonna know who I am, right? Like it's
it's not.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Which he hates that. By the way. Anyway.
Yeah. And then the other thing I had listed on here, and you brought it up under the toys, but when I think 80s, you have to think WWF wrestling because that's when it fucking blew up. That was like a
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania was the first big event that I remember people were like, I have to get pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was pay-per-view, and my dad was really into it.
I watched it religiously.
I used to watch it with my dad when I go see him.
Okay, my story for WWF technically fell in the 90s, but I'm going to tell it now since we're talking about the WWF. So we never did pay-per-view. My parents were never into WWF. Lewis really was, but so was his dad, and they would get the pay-per-view for it. So we'd go over to his house and we'd watch it or whatever. Now, like I said, I'm older. I'm probably, I don't know, high school age or whatever. So like I said, it's 90s, but anyway, we're watching it and it ends and we're of course talking about it or whatever. Well, they didn't cut off the feed afterwards. And for whatever reason, the thing that came on next was a skin flick.
Oh, Lewis.
And we're all sitting there in the living room with his dad and he's like, oh, hey, freebie. And of course we're all high school boys. Of course we want to kind of watch it, but we're sitting there with his dad. So we're all sitting there like,
I don't know.
I wonder if he remembers that. I need to bring that up.
Well, speaking of pay-per-view and stuff, I don't know how it was in Canada, but in the U.S., we had cable boxes. They were rectangular and brown, and they had the little black push buttons. And then you do the dial on the side to do the higher numbers on the push buttons. But you could do two buttons at one time and get Showtime or Cinemax, sometimes Playboy.
Oh, no.
You had one of those boxes.
Well, I mean, I just figured it out.
Sure you did. Now, was it clear or was it all wavy?
No, it was clear.
What? No, I never had one of those.
It might have had a little bit of static, but not so much that you couldn't see what was going on.
No, when I was a kid, it was like, if you tried doing shit like that, it was like, are they having sex? Is that a nipple?
No. You could hear it, but it was all blurry. It was.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, whatever.
I didn't watch the Playboy. Why did I want to see girls?
Well, you were also a girl, and I was a guy, so
I would do it to get HBO and Showtime and Cinemax and all that.
Well, I would have watched those too if I could have.
My 80s story of pay-per-view was my dad was cheap. Still is cheap.
He still is.
He's
a cheap man.
So one of my dad's buddies got WrestleMania. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember he got WrestleMania, and so he taped it. But he taped. He rented a tape for one, so he was actually on 2 tapes, the whole thing. And so he gives it to Dad for me to watch, and so I'm watching it, and so I get to the end of the first tape, which is like right in the middle of amazing fight. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, and I put it in, and it's fight, and I'm like, what happened?
As soon as you said it was on two tapes, I thought, oh damn, it cut out during the climax of the fight, didn't it?
I couldn't even tell you who won this day because I have no idea. It was, and they didn't do a recap of it, of course, because, yep.
Oh, poor you.
Poor Ray.
Poor Ray.
Night, Sean. He has to go to bed because his wife's telling him it's bedtime.
Good night, Sean.
I love you. Don't worry, I'll still help you move in.
Oh, that's right. He is moving in. Yeah, because he keeps posting on Facebook, looking for people to help us move. All right, Christy, I'm about to turn everything over to you. So let's talk about. Okay, I don't know if I got this comment out earlier or not. I was hoping Lainey. Oh, that I did say that. I was hoping Lainey was going to be here. I can understand. She would probably agree with a lot of the stuff that we said until we get to this segment, because I don't think she has that much love for 80s music. Which
she doesn't know.
80s music had some good stuff. Not all of it, but it had some good stuff.
Well, I think 80s music needs to be a nostalgic experience. I think you had to be there to really
listening to it on the radio and recording it on a tape, right?
Waiting for it,
waiting all day to hear that new hit so that you could record it and then listen to it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But some of the people that I had listed, of course, when you look up the 80s and everyone, Michael Jackson, fucking Thriller. Yes. Number 1 to this day, still the best-selling album of all time.
Yeah.
Fucking everyone and their grandmother had fucking Thriller.
Yeah. Which is funny. I never even listened to Michael Jackson when I was young.
Oh,
wow.
My mom loves Thriller. I watched Thriller when I was 5 by accident.
Wow.
For years. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the effects on it were really good. Like Stan Winston fucking did the effects and stuff.
And the eyes, and then he turned into a fucking werewolf.
It was basically a movie event. It was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was by accident. It was on TV, and my parents had friends over, and all of a sudden there's the 5-year-old watching Thriller, and yeah.
That's one of those things that like everyone's like, hey, let's make music videos or whatever, and Michael Jackson's like, I'm about to blow the doors off this bitch.
Hold my drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hold my drink.
Hold my drink. I got this.
I mean, I knew who he was, obviously, but I didn't really listen to his music then.
I grew up.
Let's see. Other people I had listed, of course. Big ones from the 80s, of course. Madonna.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Which, that was going back to the style. Like that was a huge style thing as well.
Her and Cyndi Lauper.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They are our generation's Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera.
Yes.
Like that's how you could equate it now.
Whitney Houston.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was huge.
Well,
Beyonce.
She was the original. Yeah.
Prince.
Yeah.
Fucking Prince. And of course, now Lainey would have to agree to that because she fucking loves Prince to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Eurythmics, they were big. I loved Annie Lennox.
Yes.
What are you guys swatting at?
We have houseflies.
Oh my God, so do we.
So do we.
Oh,
it's like we live in a barn.
I killed like 20 of them yesterday.
I really like Bon Jovi.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of which, this was also the rise of a lot of hard rock, heavy metal, and of course Christy's favorite thing, hair metal / glam metal.
Pour some sugar on. Yes.
Def Leppard.
Yep. I've never been a big music guy, but that music is so married to my arcade experience that I can't separate them. Like when like she was talking about the putt that we had, that we would go get dropped off Saturday morning and go play. Of course, they were older kids as well. And then, they'd be feeding they had a jukebox with these big speakers hung up above it. And so the arcade is rocking with just tons of game sounds, but then you had like Bon Jovi and Def Leppard blasting over these big speakers. Like if I was an adult walking in there, I'd just be like, this is a horrible experience. This is just sounds and this new music that the kids like, but we were fucking eating it up. It was awesome.
My memories of music in the 80s very limited because I didn't get into music when I was a kid.
A lot of Phil Collins.
A lot of Phil Collins.
Oh, fucking love Phil Collins.
Genesis days.
And unfortunately, I remember my sister's boy bands, like the New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
Yes.
Were the first. I remember them being the first musical act that I really attached to. Like I loved them. I was like 9. And I was
gonna marry Donnie.
I wanted Joey because he was the youngest, and so I thought that was more age appropriate. But I love New Kids on the Block, absolutely.
And now Donnie's on Blue Bloods, and I'm like, yeah, I'd still marry you.
Did you had all the dolls for him, right?
Yeah,
I didn't have the dolls.
Oh, okay.
I had the sheets, the shirts,
the poster,
the buttons.
Yeah,
that you put on your clothes or your backpack.
Their first album came out in 1986. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. New Kids on the Block.
They started in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They were my first I loved them. Memorized all of their songs. Had their Christmas album. That's right.
Oh yeah. Everything they put out.
Oh yeah. Everything. Whatever. Even if it was shit, I bought it, and I would my mom buy it, and I loved it.
Had T-shirts, beach towels.
See, I've never been after a band like that. Like, I've never fallen in love with a band like to that point. But
it's just Foo Fighters.
Fighters. Ooh.
They went to a concert last week, right?
Yeah. You went to see the Foo Fighters?
They went to see Foo Fighters last weekend.
I lost my shit and my voice.
He fanboyed pretty hard. I remember we didn't have MTV up here. We have something called Much Music, and it came out 3 years after MTV.
Yep.
So the first music video I actually remember watching and really thinking was awesome was Aha's "Take on Me."
That is a fucking awesome video.
And I love. Yeah, and I still love that song, and I sing it like Chris Kattan, and I just love it.
Was Tarzan Dan on in the 80s, or that's 90s too? I think. Did you guys? He was a local.
He was a Canadian DJ.
I don't think so. No.
So he was Tarzan Dan.
Tarzan Dan. Now, he talked super super fast. I think that was early 90s. I think
that was 90s.
Anyways, he was like a VJ, and before that.
One of the other things I had listed was this was also the golden age of hip hop. Mm-hmm. Fucking Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Tribe Called Quest, and my favorite as a kid, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I fucking loved DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Parents just don't understand. Hell to the yes.
Dork.
Yes, I was.
I mean, I did the typical, in KOTB for life.
Yeah, for life.
Debbie Gibson. I would listen to some Tiffany.
I like Tiffany. Yeah, I had her tape.
But really, the biggest thing for the 80s for me was the hair bands. Def Leppard, the beginnings of Bon Jovi when he was a hair band. Poison, they were my favorite. That was my first concert I ever went to.
How old were you when you went to a Poison concert?
7th grade.
A Poison
But you
concert.
have to remember, it's the only reason I have the love for that music is because my mom. I mean, she was young 20s then. So that's what I would listen to.
That's fair.
And that's why I know about those bands like Rat and Cinderella and, I mean, just all
White
of them.
Lion.
White Lion, yes.
White Snake.
I went to a White Lion concert. White Snake.
Yeah. I know that my mom she was 20 when she had me, but it was the same thing. She loved that music, so she cranked it on, and she was so young. And
was Aerosmith big then, or was it?
Yes.
Not? Okay, I didn't remember if they were 80s or 90s.
Aerosmith started in the 70s, but I mean they were big.
80s were when they got.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were pretty big in the late 70s.
Well, they may have been.
But I mean, they've been big ever since they started. So
yeah.
And I will rock out to that shit anytime I hear it.
Yeah, she will. She's gotten the boys into some of it too, which is funny.
Not to be a downer, but we can't mention music in the 80s and not mention that John Lennon was assassinated.
1980.
True. I was going to say, before we move on, technically the 80s, even though it was very, very late in the 80s, was also the birth of grunge and the rise of Nirvana and Soundgarden. And, you know, I mean, when I think of Nirvana, I mainly think 90s though, but that's when they got their start. Like that was the birth of it. So
it was the late 80s is when that all really started. And
yeah,
it was a fascinating time.
Billy Idol. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Billy Idol had some awesome ass shit.
White Wedding.
I love Billy Idol.
Billy Idol.
Sorry. Before I forgot.
He had some hot women in his video.
Sorry.
I'm teasing you. I love you.
So should we go ahead and move on to movies?
Yes.
This was even though the birth of the blockbuster was in the 70s, this is when the blockbuster became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Empire and Jedi were both fucking released in the 80s. Superman 2. This is also like when we started getting a lot of sequels. I did not realize. Did you realize all 3 Indiana Jones movies came out in the 80s?
Yes, I did. And
I fucking love those movies. What?
I didn't. I was just looking at the chat room.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
Ryan mentioned Magnum PI, by the way, which was huge in the 80s.
Oh yeah, which they're remaking. Which I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, apparently that Hawaii Five-0 they remade is still going. I guess so. Let's see here. So, fucking Indiana Jones. My partner at work is probably more of a Star Wars fan than I am, and like his second thing is Indiana Jones. He fucking has some awesome Indiana Jones stuff. Let's see here. We also got E.T.
Oh. That's the first movie I ever saw in the theater was E.T.
I remember. That's the first movie I remember seeing in the theater because I was scared to death.
Where the boys would watch E.T.?
That's what I was about to ask you that question. The only problem is I think it would scare them.
It took a long time for Quinn to want
The
to watch
corn.
it.
The only thing, the corn scene is what I'm afraid of.
I really think I was about 6 when it was. Well, what year did it come out?
I'd have to look it up.
Because it was in the theater as a new movie.
Yeah.
It came out in 82.
82 is when it came out.
Oh, well, then no, I didn't see it that young because I would have only been 3.
Went to the drive-in.
I really think I was about 6 when I first saw it.
I remember seeing in the theater, and the corn scene scared the hell out of me.
Well, it's the actual E.T. puppet that freaked Quinn out the most. Like,
is it?
It was too much. He couldn't do it. So he didn't watch until this year. Yeah.
It was this year.
He thought it was fantastic.
Oh, he loves it
I
now.
think the corn scene would scare him, and then I don't know how how Nick would handle the part where you think he died. I don't know if I could handle that with him.
He would break down.
He would break down. This is also the increase of sci-fi, post-apocalyptic stuff. Mad Max, fucking awesome. Dystopian stuff, Blade Runner, which I had never actually seen Blade Runner all the way through until this last year.
I'm the same. I never got into it until the new one was coming out, and I thought, well, I better see the original. And so.
Same thing. I was the same way, and I was like, I understand why people really like this movie because especially coming out in the 80s, like that was some heavy shit to drop in the 80s. But yeah, I thought it was good. And then a series that I adore and love to this day, and Christy cannot stand for some reason. Back to the Future.
You can't.
Oh, Christy.
I'm not sure you can come to Canada anymore.
They're so good.
You know, Michael J. Fox.
Marty McFly is annoying.
Huey Lewis in the News fucking did the theme. Oh,
dude,
so good.
So good.
We've got the
Car.
kids. They love it too.
They do love it.
I bet the boys would love it too. Because they'd be young enough not to really understand why is the mommy trying to hit on the kid.
Yeah.
But you just have to put it out of the back of your head and just go with whatever. But yeah, fucking back to Rise of Fantasy.
It annoys me, but it does.
Fantasy movies. Excalibur. Conan. Conan was fucking badass. Beastmaster. Legend. Princess Bride.
Yes.
Labyrinth.
I was just about to say that.
And a movie that I have also thought I would love to show the boys, but I don't know how they would handle it. The Neverending Story.
Oh,
yes.
Have the kids seen They've seen the Neverending Story.
They did when they were younger. I don't think they got it, so we have to watch it again.
The scene with the horse is the
radio attacks.
Breaks my heart every time.
It's so sad.
I haven't seen that.
It's the scene right after, and he's just sitting there defeated
in the big mud pit.
Yeah.
And the horse is gone. Yeah, I think Logan would have.
Logan would have a really hard time with that.
Yeah, that's the heartbreak part. So, slasher films became a thing. We got sequels to Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I never was a horror person, so I never
can't watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
You know what's funny though? If you should go back and watch the first one now, just because if you start watching the effects, that effect where he pulls him into the bed, and then the gallon, like it's like it's like a swimming pool of blood just shoots out. And the way that they did that, I mean, we're talking about the 80s. This is before anything with the computer or whatever. They literally built this room, turned it upside down, and basically unleashed a swimming pool worth of red water to make this blood. And then you're just sitting there going, how the hell did they do this back in the 80s? Like, they must have had to do something really crazy. And you find out, wow, they did. They did something really crazy to get that effect.
Speaking of crazy and crazy effects, The Fly.
Oh, yes. The Fly freaked me out.
I've never seen that. I don't watch it.
I've never actually watched the whole movie, but yeah.
We had the start of horror. Now, I think this is funny that it lists these movies in particular, but the horror comedy, Ghostbusters, which, I mean...
How's that a horror comedy?
Well, yeah.
Gremlins.
Yes.
Gremlins scared the hell out of me as a kid.
I watched that when I was like 6.
Yeah. Gremlins scared the hell out of me. And then and I completely forget about Gremlins until Cy brings up the weirdest part of that movie when they're doing the whole thing about the dad dying in the chimney or whatever. And I'm just like, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because the whole movie just comes to a screeching stop at that point.
Yeah. So, Gremlins, E.T. a little bit, but Gremlins was the one where they really took a look at their PG rating.
Yes, Zach's rated PG.
Oh yeah, we better change this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one they had listed for horror comedy, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
The kids just watched that. They thought it was funny.
I bet they would. I wonder if our boys would watch Beetlejuice. It was just listed as such because
where they go to purgatory, I guess, and then when they change their face.
Changing the face.
Yeah, the faces kind of freaked me out as a kid, but
that's why we waited so long to show them.
Yeah. Comedies, Airplane.
Yes.
Oh my. The Naked Gun movies. I adore the Naked Gun movies, and you can watch them as a kid and think they're funny, but as an adult, so that you pick up all of the little things, that's when it gets really funny.
One that was a comedy that was really popular in our house was Police Academy.
Yes,
I can't do them. They're so stupid.
I'll watch them all day long.
They're so stupid and funny. Beverly Hills Cop. That was the shit.
Three Amigos.
Yes.
Ooh, I love the Three Amigos.
Yep. Which, by the way, Steve Martin and Martin Short doing that
stand up on Netflix.
That was awesome. They did it
great.
Crocodile Dundee. I remember that was a huge thing. I loved that movie when it came out. And then they started breaking out what they call the teen comedies: Animal House, Fast Times, Porky's. Revenge of the Nerds,
Breakfast Club.
Yes. John Hughes is just like that's a whole sub thing right there.
16
John Hughes.
I know, but
a whole show on just John Hughes.
Yes, we could do a whole show on just John Hughes. Teen comedies is what it was listed as. But.
Weird Science. I love that one.
Yes, that's when Val Kilmer was hot.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yes.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, I love that. Can't Buy Me Love. And Say Anything. Oh,
yeah.
Spaceballs. Caddyshack.
Yes.
Spaceballs.
I love fucking Spaceballs.
Bryn loves that movie.
That is so stupid.
It is so awesome.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Fucking anything with fucking John Candy. Just.
What about the Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
Oh yeah,
Those are funny.
those were funny.
Those camp.
Ernest, all the Ernest movies, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll never forget going to see the first Ernest movie. Ernest Goes to Camp, and my mom walking out and going, "That was actually not bad. Like he's actually a decent actor and can actually sing." I loved Ernest.
I love.
Do y'all remember the Ernest show that he had on Saturday morning?
Little.
I loved that show.
As much as Ernest was, Ernest was the movie. It was the cooks. Those two
cooks, especially the one that never talked.
Yes, they made it.
The boys would like watching that.
Oh, it's funny.
The one that I'm going to throw in here before I forget is, and we still watch it every year, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
That's a Christmas.
Holy
classic.
shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Let's see here. Things that are being. Oh my God! How did I forget this? The Goonies.
Yes.
Goonies.
I'm trying to figure out what age we watched the Goonies with the boys, because you have to be a certain age for it to really stick. Because she never watched the Goonies as a kid, and when I showed it to her later on in life, she's like, "Yeah, that was okay," but you had to be a certain age.
That's why he says I didn't have a childhood.
Like a 9-year-old. I think a 9-year-old would.
Yeah, that would probably be good. Die Hard.
Bueller's Day Off. Yes.
Die Hard. Fucking awesome. Bueller's Day Off. Gremlins. Alien. Terminator. The first Terminator was okay.
My introduction to sex scenes.
Yes. The Thing. See, that's what's funny. Some of these horror movies, even though we talked about it last time, some of these horror movies are still the shit today. So, action movies. Karate Kid. I love those movies. Rambo, Rocky, Commando, Die Hard, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Bond movies. We got Bond movies all through the 80s.
None of those.
So, Top Gun, Days of Thunder.
Yep.
Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Oh, I loved Roger Rabbit.
I love you.
Big.
Yes. Big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dirty Dancing.
Oh yeah.
The Lost Boys.
Well, actually, Dirty Dancing didn't start my love for Patrick Swayze.
The Lost Boys is a fucking classic.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Speaking of Patrick Swayze,
Roadhouse.
RoboCop.
Oh yes. Which supposedly, did you hear they're making a sequel that's supposed to be a sequel to the first one? They're throwing everything out after that, and it's because it was actually written at that time, and they just didn't go with that script, and now they're like, let's take that script and polish it up.
Hey, okay.
Cool.
And everyone's hoping they're going to get what's his face and just CG his face on it, and I'm like, yes, I am down for that.
Go for it. That would work.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, how did
God, I hate Rick Moranis.
I don't understand why she hates Rick Moranis.
I know, I hate him.
Even though
him.
Now here's the thing: when I told her why
Look at
he
their
quit,
faces.
why he quit Hollywood, and to raise his kids because his wife died of cancer, she's like, well, maybe I don't hate him as much as I thought I did. I'm like, yes, because he's a decent guy.
We told the kids that the other day. They're like, is he in anything else? I'm like, well, guys, no, because. And they're like,
I like that he'd come out of retirement, but because he never really retired, but he said he would do a Spaceballs too. I see the Schwartz is mine.
Oh my God, I would.
Brooks is still alive. He needs to get on this.
Risky Business was listed in the chat room by Ryan.
Yeah.
Risky Business. Yeah.
Cocktail.
Oh, I watched Cocktail. Yeah.
That was Tom Cruise's era. I feel like that's when.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, he needs to give it up. I'm done with him.
A little bit. He needs to stop.
Tron.
Oh, I love Tron.
Dune. Those you have to mention those ones.
Yep.
Okay, and now I'm going to get into some movies that I loved as a kid, and I'm a little embarrassed to mention them, but oh well.
Okay.
Over the Top.
No, that is a great fucking movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's a movie with Sylvester Stallone, and he's trying to basically he's trying to make enough money so that he can have his boy with him, because he's separated from his wife and he wants his boy to come with him.
Driver?
And it's an arm wrestling movie, and it's fucking awesome.
I think I remember. Yes, I don't think I've seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
I remember when I found that movie, I think in the late 90s, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Yep.
Because he turned the hat around like he was like, all right, time to turn the switch.
And then the little twist up, and apparently that'll do it.
So awesome. Footloose was brought up.
Yes.
Yep. When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
See, that's an iconic scene right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this was my introduction to Rocky. It was Rocky 4. I didn't watch any of the Rockies before that. Rocky 4 was my introduction.
Mm-hmm.
That one has a special place in my heart.
It does to me too. Of all the Rocky movies, okay. There's two different type of Rocky movies. There's the serious Rocky movies, and then there's the Rocky movies that I know. And 4 is still my favorite one.
Yeah.
So,
License
Scarface, good catch, Ryan. Like that's fucking 80s right there.
License to Kill was the first James Bond movie that I remember watching.
Really, that's cool.
What about the Coreys and their movies?
Oh, License to
Drive.
License to Drive. But you
Yeah.
already said fucking Lost Boys.
Lost
Boys, yeah.
The Last Starfighter.
I fucking loved that
Bunch of
movie.
Bridges.
No.
No.
No. You're thinking Tron. Tron was
Yeah.
just The Last Starfighter was Flight of the Navigator.
Oh my god, I was just about to say that.
I love that movie. Oh, I love that movie.
Short Circuit. I watched till the tape broke.
Yes.
The Abyss. The Abyss
Oh,
was
I like
groundbreaking.
The Abyss.
Yes, it was.
I like The Abyss.
For the water to have a human face and actually move and stuff like that, that was groundbreaking.
Yeah. Well, they did that after they were like, they're like, oh, hey, do you see what James Cameron did with this liquid metal? Let's see what we can do with this face. Or was it the other way around? Did they do the face first and then he did the liquid metal? I don't remember.
The Abyss was first.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So.
Cocoon.
Yes.
I remember that, yes.
I love Cocoon.
Inner Space was a good one.
I loved that movie too.
And then Batteries Not Included.
I didn't care for that one.
No, I
yeah.
Like the big guy. I don't know. I resonate with him. And the last one that I'm going to mention is a very horrible movie
With Ron Perlman in it, by the way.
that I couldn't get enough of, and that was The Ice Pirates.
Yes.
She showed me the trailer.
So bad.
Yes, it is.
I couldn't stop watching as a kid.
The Shining. Yes, that's a
Shining.
fucking awesome movie. The one I didn't mention that basically, I can almost say there are certain events in your life that you can measure before this time and after this time. The Transformers movie, because watching fucking Optimus Prime die on screen,
He cried.
I still tear up today. I'll be very honest with you, because it's heart-wrenching, because my grandfather died within a year of that movie coming out. And I had two heroes growing up, my grandfather and Optimus Prime. And I lost both of them within a year. And it was fucking horrible.
Little Mermaid came out in the 80s.
Hey,
I love Little Mermaid.
1989. That's when Disney started their...
Turning around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they got their shit
Let me
together.
tell you the best movie of the 80s.
All right.
What? Go ahead.
The best little whorehouse in Texas.
Tell the story about how you... Go ahead and tell the story.
Steel Magnolias.
Oh, yes. So the best little whorehouse in Texas, my grandparents, had a copy of it. And so, I would watch it, not really knowing, obviously, what
But the whorehouse
it was
one.
about.
Yeah.
Yes. But it had Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds, so that's why I was really watching it. And then one Sunday morning, going into church,
Baptist church, mind you.
I started singing the theme song.
That's funny.
That's awesome. I would have loved to have been there for that. That would have been awesome.
Just a little bitty pissant country place.
Can't believe it. Batman.
Yes, that was. I still love Batman, and I go back and forth.
Like Michael Keaton Batman.
Yes, like he's still one of my favorite Batman.
Speaking of Michael Keaton, Mr. Mom.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie too.
And The Money Pit with Tom Cruise. Not Tom Cruise. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yes.
Hi, I'm Tom Hanks. Sorry.
Chris, did you watch I can't think of the name of it. It had Shelley Long, the Girl Scout Troops, Beverly Hills Troop.
The Beverly Hills Troop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I did watch that. Yes.
Good 80s flick.
It's cute.
Do you remember Little Monsters?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, with Howie Mandel.
Yes. Howie Mandel.
He had a big part in my childhood, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hellraiser, Less Than Zero. These are all things Ryan was throwing out in the chat room. Raging Bull, Shining, Escape from New York.
80s?
What?
Candyman, I think it was 90s.
I think that was 90s. I want to say that was 90s.
A lot of the Muppets movies. Muppets Take Manhattan.
I fucking love the Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
I think I've watched that.
Yeah, they did a bunch of good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lainey will feel good that we threw those in there too. So, well, does anyone have anything else they want to add, or should we go ahead and wrap up for the evening?
Right. Can I just add a couple of quick
Absolutely, notes? Go. Yeah.
Yeah, just news stuff. Because the first thing we said that we remember of news.
Oh yeah.
The Berlin Wall coming down.
Mm.
Yes.
That was I still remember. I didn't remember the significance of why, but I do remember that vivid. Yeah. Mount St. Helens erupting.
Yep.
I do remember that one. Mm-hmm. The boycotted Olympics was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Jessica was something that happened down in Texas, and was Canada gained its complete independence in 1982.
Really? It took that long?
That was when we finally got our complete independence, I guess. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then
Canada.
Yay! We talked about wrestling. So two more. One is the last episode of MASH. We didn't talk about MASH.
That was huge.
That was massive. And then the other one that affects my work today, Chernobyl. 26th of April, 1986. The world changed.
Yep.
So.
And Challenger explosion.
Oh, yeah.
That was the 80s too, I believe.
It's crazy.
That was a big one.
Yeah. So.
I don't remember watching it live. I don't think we watched it live.
I do. We were in second grade.
I would have been in fourth grade, and I don't remember
like,
watching it.
Okay, we gotta turn this off real quick.
Yeah, I bet.
We were all like, why? Did it blow up? Are they all dead?
Oh.
And they were like,
I'd be
trying to figure out how they were going to talk to us about this.
Well, yeah, because that was the teacher in the.
And then we were never allowed to watch anything like that.
Any live thing? Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Oh, and on a positive note, Miracle on Ice was in the 80s. It was 1980. That was when the U.S. won the Olympic gold over Soviets.
Oh, yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah, he always has to throw something hockey in there. So
Hockey.
It was American hockey, at least.
True. Very true.
What about
I
Mary
looked
Lou
it up.
Retton
We got sixth that year.
We got sixth.
About Mary Lou Retton with the U.S. Olympics?
Yeah.
That was a huge thing. Gymnastics.
I don't have anything else to add at that point.
I think Montreal and Calgary both had the Olympics that decade.
Calgary did for sure. I can't
remember when Montreal was, though.
Yeah,
maybe Montreal was in the 70s. I think it was 78.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yay.
Well, that is our wrap up for the 80s. I've got to look on the schedule and see when we're doing our next episode, which, as you can probably guess, is going to be on the 90s. Which, I mean, yeah, I lived through the 90s, but the 80s is my decade. Whereas if Lainey's not here for the 90s one, I don't know what going on, because she's a 90s kid. So
she's born in 1990, right?
Yep, she was born in 90.
Yeah. So
I was born in 82. I love the 80s. I started to grow in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where I really started to find out who I was and what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I was being told by my parents, and that. So the 90s for me is where I became myself.
90s are pretty big for me. I mean, I was getting out of high school, getting out of middle school. Started high school in 93.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my high school years were 90s.
Well, you're more than welcome to come back and join us for the next episode. You don't have to. We'd love to have
I
you.
don't know if I have any 90s attire.
You don't necessarily have
Hold
to
on.
dress.
We didn't mention one thing about the 80s fashion.
Oh, what?
Tie-dye.
Oh. Was it big?
Yeah.
I don't
See,
remember.
I think 70s when I think tie-dye, but...
Yeah.
We still wore a lot of it.
Yeah. Of course, people still wear tie-dye today, so tie-dye is almost like timeless at this point.
And the hypercolor shirts.
Oh,
but
fuck yeah,
that might have been
hypercolor.
90s. I don't remember.
No, I remember hypercolor in elementary school, which would have been 80s for me, so... Yeah.
I never got one.
I never did either.
You guys.
So, and then the kids that did have them, people were constantly touching them. They're like, "Stop touching me!" Well, let's move on to our picks and pans for the week. Would anyone like to go first?
Sure.
All right, Ray, what you got for us?
It is new trailer season. There were a bunch of trailers that dropped in the last day.
Yes.
So yeah, new trailer season is awesome. And then the other one was there was a big trade for Toronto Raptors. We got San Antonio's Leonard and Greening. So yeah, I don't watch basketball, but this is an absolutely huge trade. The Raptors are going for it as big as they can, and they're going to try and go for at least the East and get to the Eastern Conference Final. So that's awesome that they're trying to do that.
Toronto.
So yeah,
Yay.
Toronto. 3 years ago, there was reports about how Toronto's the worst city in North America for sports, and now they're saying about how the future's bright, and they've really turned it around. So it's kind of cool that way.
That's cool. Chris, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
I have one of each.
Okay.
So my pan is that I have strep throat.
Oh no.
I've never had
Sorry.
I woke up yesterday morning and I've never he's been not kissing me lately. I woke up with an ear, like I've never had an earache before, but my ears hurt and it felt like I had trying to swallow a marble with sandpaper on it. It was excruciating spot. Never had it before. My sister gets it like almost every year. Call her up and she's like, yeah, you got strep. So I had to go to the Emerge, got the stupid cotton swab shoved down my throat. I'm on amoxicillin, so that sucks. But the pick was, before I had that, my baby sister had her fourth baby in May.
Oh.
Yet. She's got all girls now, but I got baby squishes. So it was pretty sweet. And it smells.
A new auntie.
Again, I have lots of nieces and nephews, but it was just nice to smell a new baby, and she made all the sounds, and she was the kids.
I think it's time for y'all to have another one.
Oh God, no. No. We haven't been able to have kids in 9 years. No, Quinn was 9 months old.
Quinn was 9 months. That's right.
As soon as we found out we were having a boy, you were on the phone.
Hey, Doc, I figured out what's the issue. Can you fix that for me, please?
Yes.
There you go.
So that is it. Did you go to Toronto this week too? That happened too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's my pan.
Oh no, it's my pick because Logan went to a concert with their favorite YouTubers, Dan and Phil. This was her birthday present, and she took her best friend. And it was so cute. Ray was sending me pictures of them, and they were in the big city. And Addie, her best friend, had never been before.
Not downtown Toronto.
No, and was very
Overwhelmed?
Oh yeah, she was a small town girl and living in a big world.
So my pan from that is I paid for parking with my credit card, and everything's fine. And the next night I get home, like I'm at home and everything's fine, and it's my bank calling me. What the fuck are they calling me for? Yeah, so we just wanted to make sure. Did you buy this and this and this? And were you shopping from here and there and that?
Nice.
Oh, crap.
So, yes, while I paid for my parking, they stole my credit card information and went on a shopping spree.
Lovely.
The good thing is the credit card company has killed that card, canceled everything that they got on it, and yeah, like, they had the fucking nerve to set up a Netflix account on it. Like,
seriously?
$15. You can't.
It's $14.
That's ridiculous.
Like, you're a you're an absolute idiot. Just, you do not deserve your human card. Get the fuck out.
Yep, I agree.
He doesn't like this kind of stuff.
I hate really people that steal shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
My bike got stolen from our garage one time, and
I had to write a letter down to the person that I was furious because how dare you?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It took it real personal.
Ray is so mad he wrote a letter.
That's right. A sternly written letter. You are so Canadian.
Because the guy wasn't in front of me and I couldn't pound the shit out of him.
There you go.
Personally, it's like a personal affront.
It is personal.
No, I understand.
I don't.
Fuck that. That's my shit.
Exactly. No, I understand completely. I completely understand.
I just picture Ray in a dark room. He's just writing so furiously.
It was me. Imagine this imaginary face and me doing this as I'm writing the letter. That's what got me through it.
That's hilarious. Christy, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
I don't know.
Being on the show.
It's on the show. There's a pan.
That's a pan?
Is that a pick?
Good thing.
That would be a pick.
Oh, then that's a pick.
Yeah.
I don't know these terms.
Okay, what was something that you've watched or done or something that in the last, since you haven't been on, recently that you really enjoyed?
Just from this last week?
No, it can be earlier.
I don't know.
Was there any TV shows or movies or anything recently you watched?
Well, I got sucked into Queer Eye finally, the new version.
Oh, do you love it?
Yes, at first I could not stand Jonathan, but now I love him.
I love Jonathan.
This long hair guy?
Yeah, it took me a while.
I didn't like him at first.
And I really want to date Anthony.
Who doesn't, man? He's hot.
But, he's gay, so that's not going to work.
Yeah, well. I'll go ahead and roll into my picks and pans. I've actually got two picks this week. The first one is Queer Eye, the second season. Mm-hmm. It is really good. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the first season. I really enjoyed the second season, but part of the reason I enjoyed the second season so much is because I got to watch it with her, and we had a good time watching it this last week. See, I do love her. My second pick is along the same lines. So I've started watching Clone Wars with my boys, which just as a side note, they announced at Comic-Con, because San Diego Comic-Con is happening this weekend. They announced they never got to finish the stories in that series, and they announced they are going to do 12 brand new episodes and release them, I think, this coming year, and they're going to wrap up all the stories. So, of course, my brother's like, you have to finish watching this series. I'm like, yes, we're working on it, but the reason why is it is a good series. I'm really enjoying it, but the reason I'm enjoying it so much is because I'm watching it with the kids, and the boys are liking it too. And I pushed them too hard, too early into Star Wars, and this is, Daddy, we like Star Wars now. And I'm like, thank you. Because I really thought I might have screwed that up. So, but yeah, it's really cool. Now I can't wait to get into it. Once we finish this season or this series, I can't wait to start at the Rebels. And then, of course, they've got new ones. And so, yeah. That is our show for the week, ladies and gentlemen. If you would, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google, or Stitcher, wherever it is you listen or watch the show. As always, we record the show live on YouTube, usually every other Saturday, but we're trying to get caught up. There's a certain event coming up here in just over a month, and we're shooting for a big announcement on our 100th episode. So trying to climb to that ladder really quick. As always, you can find us at epicallygeeky.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Epically Geeky. Where can we find you on the internet, Ray?
So here, Marginally Geeky, and apparently we're going to try and maybe hit a Rhythm and Bruise. That would be kind of a fun one to do, I think. And then, just on Instagram, Lake Life Artist.
Chris, where can we find you online?
Here and Marginally Geeky and upcoming Rhythm and Bruise. And something I'm working on, we're working on with Jen, and on Instagram at Cedar Birch Cottage.
Christy, where can we find you online?
I guess this episode.
She has she messes with Facebook, but she has a Twitter and stuff, but she mainly Instagram, but she mainly watches from time to time.
I was going to say, you're on every episode.
Technically, you are on every episode because if people did not know, yours is the lovely voice that comes in and introduces us on the intro. So for that and the Marginally Geeky show. So yes, technically you are on every episode. That's a good point.
There you go.
And as always, you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.